I've always grew up in a very violent family,
Yeah.
and seeing my own mom. Like, there's one time I went with my biological mom, and seeing her own boyfriend like smash her head in, like, what do you call it, like on top of the glove compartment or whatever you call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, I was in the back seat just watching the whole thing. Like, I was like 6 at the time, just watching it and just be like, damn, like I try to help, but I get smacked to the side and get knocked out. I just can't do shit about it, you know?
Yeah.
And just seeing that, it was really, really, it was really, I don't know, like, I feel like how could a man stoop down to that level to actually, you know, to hurt a woman in general?
Yeah.
I've seen my own uncle beat up my mom just because he was drunk.
Yeah.
And same thing. I try to help, and I just get knocked out. You know, like it was kind of like a constant thing. I've seen my uncle beat up his own wife in front of me. You know, her walking out with blood all over her face, and I'm just like, this is not it, man. Like, I can't say it to him. You know, like, that's one thing about the Polynesian culture, is like you can't really talk to it about it to their face. Like, they're gonna feel offended, like, oh, you're just a kid, like you can't, you know, like, you're just a kid, you're not really thinking too much about it. But I grew up with, you know, seeing that thing happening right in front of me. It was really sad, and at the same time, like, I kind of learned from it, because I didn't want to become the same, you know, I didn't want to become that. And the moment I made a promise to myself that I am never gonna become them, was I always grew up like smacking my little sister, you know, like I always try to be telling her what to do, and if she doesn't do it, I try to smack her.
Yeah.
And my mom would actually sit me down and be like, hey, you gotta stop. And I'm just, but she was, you know, she was being disobedient. And then she was like, the more you try to hit your sister, you're gonna grow up and hit your wife. And honestly, when she said that, like, it really, I just sat down for a minute and thought about it, and I was just like, damn. I was actually crying, you know, like, I also called my sister just to say sorry to her for everything. And that was the moment where I just made a promise to myself, like, hey, I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna get a wife, you know, have a wife in the future, and I'm gonna promise myself I'm never gonna be violent towards her. You know, I'm never gonna touch her. Like, I'm never gonna become the thing that I hate the most.
All right, what's up, everybody? What's everybody? Yeah. Welcome to another episode of the Kava Club podcast. You know, where we share healthy conversations, apply knowledge, experiences, and stories to promote happiness, love, and success. You know, when harmonized and complete balance completes the circle of life, man. Yes, that came from Lion King. Shout out to Faasolo, man. But anyways, I'm very excited. If you guys watching this for the very first time, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Please show some love and support. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Everybody that's been watching my videos, subscribe. Thank you so much for all the love and support and all the positive feedback. It definitely inspires me. It keeps me motivated and inspired to keep doing what I'm doing, to give you guys as many stories and content for you guys to watch. But I'm excited today. Y'all. I have a very special guest. One of our Polynesian tokos, all the way from the Bay Area. He's a low-key TikTok star. You guys might recognize him. Especially the ladies. The ladies might recognize him. You guys might recognize him, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity for him to be on my show today, to share his life story and have a great conversation about many different topics that regarding happiness, love, success. But I'm very excited for this opportunity. I want to tell him directly, thank you so much, Toko. Really appreciate the opportunity. Very excited for you to be here. But like I said, I'll allow you to introduce yourself real quick. So it's all you, Toko.
So, hi, everybody. My name is William Wilson Faasolo, and I'm 21 years old. I'm half Tongan, half Samoan, but I'm more dominant on my Tongan side, so I don't really know much about the Samoan culture, and in the Samoan language, but I'll try. And I'm right now living in Hayward, California. I grew up in Tonga pretty much all my life and came into the U.S. 2017. So yeah, I'm actually happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm actually stoked about this.
All right, for sure. I see the Tongan side, the horsey side is stronger than the horsey side. The fucking horsey. All right, so let's get started. Hey man, so can you give everybody a quick story of your life, background, how'd you grow up? So a lot of people don't know who you are, so that way people can get to have an opportunity to know who you are.
So my biological mom is Samoan and my biological dad is Tongan, and my dad dipped before I was born, so it's kind of like I didn't really grow up with the dad, but I had my uncles, my grandpa, and pretty much all the male relatives of mine, just to have them be my father figures, you know. And my biological mom became a drug addict and alcoholic, so she wasn't really around, and she gave me up when I was 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that I might be referring to as mom is actually my biological mom's sister. So she's my aunt, but she raised me, and I'll be referring to her as mom. So she had a very hard life taking care of me, because she was only 17 when she adopted me from my biological mom, and she was still in school. And she'd actually take me to high school with her. She'd switch with her friends, babysitting me, switching classes and all, you know. And I'm really, really grateful for her for actually sacrificing her school life. I mean, not the whole school life, but like, you know, like she took time to take care of me, and I'm really, really grateful. I would say that when I was 16, I lost my grandma, who was one of the closest people I've ever been. You know, the closest person to me was my grandma, because my mom was always busy with work and school and all. My grandma was always home to take care of me. And, you know, she kind of molded me to become the person I am today. And I'm really, really grateful for her too. And when I lost her 2015, I was 16 at the time. It took a whole toll on me, you know, like as losing someone very important. Like, it was my first time experiencing losing a close family member. So, and during the funeral of my grandma, like, I'm kind of comfortable to talk about this, was I was also kind of sexually abused by my not a relative, but kind of like a family friend, you know. It's just this one person that our family kind of trusted wholeheartedly, because he's always been there, like always taking care of our family. But it was just after losing my grandma and then that happening, it took a whole toll on me. And then I never really had the guts to talk about it, you know. Like, he kind of asked me to promise him not to tell anybody, but like, I'm not going to say any names, but honestly, it's always been on my mind. And I remember the 7th of January 2015, I was so close to actually committing suicide.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I actually did.
It's all good. Yeah.
So I try to hang myself, and the rope snapped. So
yeah.
And my mom beat the crap out of me. Fine, and yeah, I learned my lesson. But also having to see her be having to see her be stressed about it. And then actually she was really, really disappointed and sad of the fact that I tried to commit suicide. And I thought that like at the time I realized that I was like the reason why I wanted to commit suicide because I wanted it all end, you know?
Mhm.
And like I wanted my stress and my depression to end.
Yeah.
But I just realized when I saw my mom crying and asking me and begging me not to do it and was I wasn't ending my depression. I was actually passing it to her, you know?
Yeah.
So after that moment, I just had a new perspective of life. Seeing that like I didn't even have the guts to talk about you know, what happened to me and all, but from having to learn to sorry, I'm really really bad with words, but to see her go through what I put her through, it really hurt me, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember later on I was in a relationship with someone and we were dating for like a year or something. And I lost her to cancer, which is yeah, she passed away 2015 also, so it's kind of like the same grandma. And that kind of took a whole toll on me too. I lost my friend committing suicide 2015 too.
Yeah.
um I don't know, like I started to think that maybe I'm the problem. You know, I started to think like that again, like
Yeah.
that's the problem because people around me are just dying one
Passing
by.
away. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I didn't want to like I thought about attempting, you know, but then I always remember what I put my mom through, so I kind of took it off my mind. And then at the same year again, I lost a friend of mine due to illness, and I don't know, it was like I lost two friends, my girlfriend and my grandma, the same year, and it was just it was really really harsh, but I kind of like thought to myself like, hey, I'm a man, I'm just pushed to the side, you know,
Yeah.
because if I start to show, if I try to talk about it, maybe my family's gonna think I'm weak or something like that, you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then 2000, and then when I was 17, I moved here to the U.S. and nothing much lately. And then my my little brother got sexually abused by my own family member, and shit just came rushing in, you know, like memories and shit, you know, like
When
it
I,
happened. It
how
happened to
did
me.
how did you feel? Because there's one thing that you happened to you, but now it happened to your brother. Like, how did you feel? Was it like how did you? I just want to I want to ask that question. Like, how did you feel at that moment?
Honestly, like I know how it felt, so I was trying to be there for my brother every time I can. Like I even asked him, like, "Hey, why don't me and you move out the house? You know, like you
Yeah.
don't, like shit, like I know how he feels. Like I didn't honestly, he doesn't know what happened to me at the funeral because I haven't been really comfortable to tell him. Like I didn't want
Yeah.
to say why you feel. I just told him like, hey, let's just move out the house. You know, like we don't need to be around this bullshit. And
How,
then
he told you. That's how you
yeah,
found out. Yeah.
he like me and my little brother really really close, and we talked about it, you know. And then he was crying and telling me how he feel like he lost a part of himself because not only that it was by a person we trusted, like
Yeah.
pretty because we came into the U.S. to live with that person, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that person turned out to do this to my little brother. Is like I just lost my trust. Like I forgive you, but to trust you again, like I don't think so, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'll
Hey,
forgive
what?
you, but I won't trust you no more, you know.
Also, I want to ask you also. How old were you when it happened to you, and how old was your little brother?
My little brother was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And for me, it was when I was 16.
16, so same age. Okay.
And it was both by male who were in their 40s.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like shit happening all over again, you know? And
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I didn't really know how to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, later on, and then that's when me and my little brother moved here from Arizona.
Yeah.
Because it happened in Arizona, and we just decided to move to California. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
You made that decision. You just got up and we're leaving.
Yeah. Honestly, I had my little brother move into my grandma's house, which is where we are right now, and I was still living in Arizona with my cousins. And then I finally decided just to move in with them. You know.
Did when you left Arizona, did you talk when your brother told you about what happened with him? Did you address with that guy? Did you address it with him? Or what happened to your little brother? And what was the response? What was his response?
Like, I felt like he was actually begging for forgiveness. Like, I've already forgiven him. My little brother's already forgiven him too. But to like trust him, it was kind of like out the window, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was more of like we forgive you, but we can't be here no more, you know? Like,
yeah,
like he just let me and my little brother just move out, and we did. But like, we tried talking to him, like he was really open minded about it, you know? Like he grew up here in the United States.
Yeah.
And I think that's how he was really open about it, to talk about it, because I feel like if I were to talk about it by someone who was growing up in Tongan, he'd be like, you know, he I don't know. Like, all I can say, it's gonna be very different.
yeah.
So, yeah. And then ever since I mean, that's pretty much the major things that happened to me in my life, honestly. Like, and I've always grew up in a very violent family.
Yeah.
And seeing my own mom, like, there's one time I went with my biological mom, and seeing her own boyfriend like smash her head in, like, what do you call it, like on top of the glove compartment or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Literally, I was in the back seat just watching the whole thing. Like, I was like 6 at the time, just watching it and just be like, damn, like I try to help, but I get smacked to the side and get knocked out. Like, just can't do shit about it, you know?
Yeah.
And just seeing that, it was really, really, it was really, I don't know, like, I feel like how could a man stoop down to that level to actually, you know, to hurt a woman in general?
Yeah.
I've seen my own uncle beat up my mom just because he was drunk.
Yeah.
And same thing. I try to help, and I just get knocked out. You know, like, it was kind of like a constant thing. I've seen my uncle beat up his own wife in front of me. You know, her walking out with blood all over her face, and I'm just like, this is not it, man. Like, I can't say it to him. You know, like, that's one thing about the Polynesian culture, is like, you can't really talk to it about it to their face. Like, they're gonna feel offended, like, oh, you're just a kid, like, you can't, you know, like, you're just a kid, you're not really thinking too much about it. But I grew up with, you know, seeing that thing happening right in front of me. It was really sad, and at the same time, like, I kind of learned from it, because I didn't want to become the same, you know, I didn't want to become that. And the moment I made a promise to myself that I am never gonna become them, was I always grew up like smacking my little sister, you know, like I always try to be telling her what to do, and if she doesn't do it, I try to smack her.
Yeah.
And my mom would actually sit me down and be like, hey, you gotta stop. And I'm just, but she was she was being disobedient. And then she was like, the more you try to hit your sister, you're gonna grow up and hit your wife. And honestly, when she said that, like, it really, I just sat down for a minute and thought about it, and I was just like, damn. I was actually crying, like, I also called my sister just to say sorry to her for everything. And that was the moment where I just made a promise to myself, like, hey, I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna get a wife, have a wife in the future, and I'm gonna promise myself I'm never gonna be violent towards her. I'm never gonna touch her. Like, I'm never gonna become the thing that I hate the most. Because I'm right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, honestly, that's majority of the things that happened in my life.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, hey, I really appreciate you opening up, sharing this, on the podcast, and not only for yourself, but everybody that's listening. That takes a lot of courage. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you already know, we talked before on the podcast. The purpose of this is to create a safe place for people to share and speak their stories. Because a lot of the things you say, you talk about, and this already, just growing up in the Polynesian culture. And I know this personally myself, growing up in the Polynesian culture, that these things happen all the time when it comes to mental health, when it comes to domestic violence that you're talking about right now. And the fact that you're sharing this part of your story, and we can talk about it. I just want to say thank you so much for saying that. And I know you said something you said, you were afraid to talk about it because you didn't want to be looked at as weak. All right. And I know in the Polynesian community, that's something that we're taught as men. They call it, toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
Where they teach all of us to be strong all the time, and to express yourself or talk about something that's a problem, that's an issue, that is considered weak. And I feel like for a lot of guys and women too, that's why we're afraid to talk about these deep issues and traumas that we all go through. Like you mentioned in your story, in your kids, and why a lot of people don't speak about things and just hide it or suppress it, And you already know this already, when you don't talk about something, right, and you kind of hide it, like I want to ask you, because you've gone through it, like, what is the difference between talking about something openly with love and support from really people that understand you, than suppressing it and bottling up because of fear? Like, what's the difference for you? And I want to ask you.
Honestly, talking about it over here is, like, I'm really comfortable talking about it because, like, I know you actually doing this podcast for people who's not have anybody to talk to. So, like, me talking about this, it's like, I won't lie, like I shared about it on TikTok and all that, but like, it's really, really nice to talk about it to someone who's gonna listen,
Yeah.
The difference between that and suppressing it, I would say, if living in your head rent free is something, that's suppressing it.
Yeah.
Something is wrong, and it's kind of replaying in your mind, and you're just like, stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it can lead to a lot of things. Like, personally, I had anger issues because I've seen my so lately I've seen my uncle try to hit my mom again.
Yeah.
And me and him got into a fist fight.
Yeah.
And like, both him and my mom were surprised that I did something about it, because, like, I told him, like, you're not gonna do this again, because, like, I've already seen this in, like, like, I grew up seeing you hit my mom. I'm not gonna let you do it no more.
Yeah.
before I was young, and you usually just knock me out or push me away, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But now, come to my mom and do something about it, you know. And the way I reacted, like I would say it was right and was wrong at the same time. But it was more of like it was happening right in front of me, and not talking about it. I was really, really, really quick just to be mad and just resulted everything by violence. Like I got a few scars on my face just because of fighting my own uncle, fighting my own family.
Yeah.
Because of trying to prevent like domestic violence. Like, and I know it's wrong for me to prevent domestic violence by making more violence, you know, but like.
But let me ask you this: why did you because you said you feel right, you knew it was right, but it was also wrong at the same time. Why do you feel like it was wrong? I'm just interested to hear your response to that.
Because I could have like, I could have like asked my uncle on a good day, like, hey, can I sit down with you and talk about this? Like, I'll be honest with you, there's something in my mind that's been bothering me like this past few years, even though it's like almost more than 10 years ago.
But I mean, I'm saying is like that was happening on the live moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. On the live moment?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't talk to him at that live moment. It's happening. It is happening at that moment.
Like I feel like it could have gone two ways. Like I could have like asked like, on a good day, like could have asked him to sit down with me and talk about it. And then at the same time, I should have just like not trying to fight him, but more trying to, how do you call it? Like trying to control the situation,
Yeah.
Like instead of like I did wrestling in high school, and the last time my uncle did that to my mom, I just choked the fuck out of him. like I didn't want to fight him. I just choked him out. That's pretty much it. But before that, I was always quick to just push him. Like I just wanted to let my anger out, with the fist, and I was like, "Let's go," Like I was.
Yeah.
It's like I was looking forward for something violent to happen, just because I want to show you how mad I am.
Yeah.
That's the part of me that told me that I'm wrong. Was I was kind of like looking for you to do something violent so I can let my anger out of myself onto you all in just one go,
Oh, okay. Got you.
I should have been more proactive about it and not, but lately, like whenever shit happens like that, like I would just be quick to just, like I said, I used to do wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'm always quick to just, I'm not quick to do anything violent to you. I'm just trying to choke you out, have you go to sleep.
Yeah. No, because I know a lot of people are watching this, right? And that's why I'm just gonna want to go deeper, because for me, it's like if somebody, especially because we're talking about domestic violence here, right? And if somebody is physically beating up or hurting or violently abusing somebody within your family, or somebody you love about, I feel like for me, there, at that moment when it's happening in real time, there is no talking is over.
Yeah.
Like, because the number one priority is like, we have to stop this person from hurting this person. And right. And because that's our natural reaction, when you have real love for somebody, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's natural for us to react that way. And I don't think anybody should feel guilty, feel bad about protecting somebody you love from getting abused, from getting physically abused by somebody, right? Yeah. And then I just wanted to share that because I know that a lot of people are gonna watch this, a lot of kids, and not only I just want to say thank you for sharing this, but I do want to. And if you want to say something different, I would love. We're just having a healthy conversation. But I just want to put out there to everybody that's watching that if somebody if you see somebody that you love that's physically getting abused violently by somebody else, that whatever you have to do to protect that person,
you gotta do it.
You gotta do it, and there's nothing wrong with You know what I'm saying? Don't feel guilty, right? And oftentimes, and I see this a lot, and I want you to, if you want to say something about it, I see this a lot. A lot of times, our elders will make us feel guilty for doing that, right? Hey, you're younger. Hey, because you're trying to make me feel guilty for stopping you from bashing my mom's head on the glove box.
Yeah.
out of Pakabapa, and get that shit out of here, man.
Yeah.
out of respect and Pakabapa to you, you know. And that's why I'm saying this, because I just want to put out there, like, if you should not feel bad for protecting somebody you love, right? I do understand that, you know, we should try to de-escalate the situation, not try to be like add more violence.
Like it's like I'm not trying to wish for it to happen. Like I'm just wishing for like I'm just wishing for you to do something for me to actually try to out, you know, on you. Like looking for trouble. Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, I'm not, if I see somebody in my family, you know, God forbid something happens, I am not gonna feel guilty about whatever I have to do to stop that person, you know. And there's no justification, and also there's no justification for that person to justify their behavior, especially especially from a man hitting a woman.
Yeah,
you know that's a whole nother that's a whole nother. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, man to man, but I'm saying this is a grown man hitting a woman who was, you know, women are usually weaker than the man, right? So the amount of abuse is like compounded as far as what the pain they feel.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I just want to keep it real, man. Like, I don't feel like you should feel guilty about, even if you felt like you went overboard, but like, what do you expect a young kid to react?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, let's talk this out, man. No, like, what do you expect? You know, I just want to say that to you, because to let that out of, you know, that to let that, whatever, if you have some kind of guilt or something you hold, you know, that, you know, kind of whatever it's a guilt or like a feeling that you did something wrong. Like, I don't feel like you did something wrong based on my own opinion about it. And that's want to say that for everybody that's watching this. Like, you know, if you see domestic violence, if you see somebody in your family getting hit or getting abused, like, you have every right, man. Like, you have every right to stop that. All right, to stop that person, and you should never feel guilty about that. You should never feel guilty, because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? And I just want to say that, Togo. Just want to say that.
Appreciate it, man.
Like, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. Like, you did. Honestly, that's the way I see it. Like, we should never feel guilty, because I see that a lot of times. Like, when we do something, like you said, if we do something within our culture, especially when it comes to the elders, they always try to make us feel guilty and make us feel like we did something wrong, when they knew they did something wrong. Like, they call us on our bullshit, but they don't want to call themselves on their on their bullshit, which is crazy, right? Like, hey man, like, you know, but yeah, like, so I just want to speak on that. Yeah, but so for you, I want to ask you, and since we're on the topic of domestic violence, we might as well just go and focus on this topic. For you, why do you feel like, on your personal experience, why do you feel like domestic violence is something that's not addressed in the Polynesian culture, and why nobody's doing anything to fix it or to provide a solution so it doesn't happen ever again?
Honestly, it's for both men and women. I think for guys, it's usually a way to control your partner, like, or whoever you're, you know, like whoever. Like, it's more of like trying to instill fear into that person, to be like, hey, like, I'm the man of the house. Like, you should listen to me. If you can't listen to me, I'm gonna do everything that's necessary for you to fear me.
Yeah.
You know? And I think for women, they don't want to speak about it because of fear, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think they'd want to address it, but it's just all out of fear, you know?
But let me ask you, where's that fear coming from? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, where is this fear coming from for people, for women and men to feel like that? For number one, for men to feel like this is acceptable, right? Because I know we had a conversation before. There's like common sense, right? Isn't like this shit's common sense. Like why are like it doesn't take for us for me to get on the podcast to talk about this shit, right?
Yeah,
this is common sense.
You don't have to go to school to actually learn about this shit.
Like it's not cool to fucking beat people up or beat your wife up. You know, to abuse somebody. That's common sense. But
like I told my friend, like I told a lot of people, like the moment you hit your wife, I'm gonna lose my respect for you. You know, like I don't give a fuck who you.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, where's this fear? Where's this fear coming from men to feel like they need to dominate women, and also for women to be afraid to speak up? Like, I want to ask you because we have to get to the root of the problem. Where is this fear that's causing this shit?
Honestly, like,
is it from the way we get taught? Is it from our parenting? Is it from like the culture itself? Like, I want to ask you.
I feel like that we grew up in the household like being taught discipline through a way like, oh, like you get the shit smacked out of you, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a formal way of discipline. So a lot of people grow up and feel like, oh, like if I can't talk to you, I'm gonna do every means necessary for you to actually listen, you know, and do what I say. So a lot of people react to violence. Like remember when I told you that I used to discipline my little sister just by hitting her. Yeah. And then my mom would actually sit me down to talk to me about it, like, you know, like how I'm hitting my sister and all that. Like, like I needed, like, she didn't tell me to stop. It was more of like, think about it, you know, like you could grow up and have the same mentality and hit your own wife. And like I said, it's instilled in a very young age. Like you see it every day, you know, you lie, you get beaten, you steal, you get beaten. Like there are consequences for everything.
Yeah.
And you feel like those consequences are just basically solving it with violence.
I love it. Say that again. It's
like solving the consequences with just violence.
We're solving everything that we do with violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I've seen people who are very, like, you can smack the shit out of them, they won't even care. But the moment you try to sit down and talk to them about it, they'll actually listen, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it happened, like, there are some situations where you gotta, you know, like, discipline them with a belt or something like that. But it's not really, like, it's really different for whoever it is. Like, I've seen someone, like, you can beat the fuck out of him, and he won't listen. Like, you know, he won't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But the moment you sit him down and try to make him understand, they'll actually listen and try to change your life. So it's kind of different depending on the situation of who you are as an individual.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about common sense. Like, if you try to force something on someone, you're not going to learn.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We'll learn at that moment just so you can stop. So you can stop hitting us.
Yeah.
But that's not like a healthy way to teach somebody how to do something if you try to force it with violence or with physical discipline, whatever people want to call it.
Right. Like, trust, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it works. But the moment you realize it don't work, you gotta have a different approach, you know?
No, I think the best way to say it is it only works temporarily.
Yeah.
Right, but it doesn't work long term.
Yeah.
If you want to teach somebody something, they'll stop for a little bit because, you know, at first they don't want to get hit, and, you know, I just got my ass, in their mind, I just got my ass beat, so let me not do it for maybe a couple of days so I can avoid this ass beating I just got. But after a couple of days go, you can go back to your natural self and do the same thing you did before.
Exactly. And like, I've seen a lot of Polynesian kids that be like, I'm gonna get my ass beaten later, but I'm gonna have fun right now. You know? And that's how I do with everybody. Like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get my ass beaten like later on, but I don't care because I've already I already lived my life right now.
Yeah.
It kind of saddens me to think that how people think about it, you know, like it goes both ways. Like it depends on who you're hanging out with. It depends on how your parents are to you, you know. Like it just depends with you. And again, I'm going to be very sorry because I'm not really good with words, but I'm gonna try my best to explain things, you know.
No,
And
no, I think this is the problem, right? Because number one, that's not the healthy way of teaching somebody, right?
Yeah.
Of how to do and learn something. But the problem is when we teach that way of thinking, like you said, right? Okay, it's like reward and punishment.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna, even though my parents told me not to do this, even though this is something that's wrong to do, I'm gonna do it anyway. And then I'll take the punishment.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take the punishment. I'll take the punishment. The problem with that is, that's because punishment, it depends on the punishment. It depends on what the punishment is. It depends what the reward is, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with that in the lower level, like when it comes to say like going out to a party, right? We're talking about, so when it's a lower level, if you go to a party and if you go to a party and of course your parents told you not to go to a party, the only punishment is you get hit by your parents.
Yeah.
All right. The problem is, I think that for me personally, the problem with that is we take that same level of thinking and we kind of, when we grow older and adults, we actually apply that same level of thinking in everything we do. So especially when it comes to a job, right? You know what? I'll go to a party, but you know what? I know I should go to this party because I got work tomorrow, and I know I'm on my last warning. But then I'll do it because, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
And then you lose your fucking job.
Right? I feel like there's no long-term thinking.
Yeah, exactly. We only think short-term.
Yeah.
And we don't really outweigh the risk. And we don't really outweigh the risk and realize like, like this, not only this decision is gonna hurt it, but we're willing to do things that has no value to our life and risk that.
Yeah.
Right. Because nobody really took the time and our parents to teach us the right way and teach us long-term thinking and skills and be like, hey man, like, you shouldn't do this because not because of my punishment. You shouldn't do this because number one, it's gonna hurt your future.
Yeah.
Right. In our mind, everything is just, it's not even about our mindset. I feel like sometimes it's poly, like we don't even think about the long-term gain, right? We just think about reward and punishment.
Yeah.
And that's how we do everything with our lives when it comes to health. I know I should eat this. I'm 300 pounds right now. I just had my second heart attack last year, right? But I'm gonna do this because I do it. I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
Right.
Let it be tomorrow.
Right. I'm just, for me, that's just how I see it. Like, what do you think? Like, do you feel like that's true? Do you see that within yourself? Do you see that with friends? Because I see this all the time. Like, we don't really do things that I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Like, we don't really do things long term. Everything is just short term for us. And we always want to push it because, that's how I guess that's how we grew up as kids, No, there was no conversation. It was just like, let's just do it. And then like what's the word? Oh, be proactive. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
We're just reacting to shit.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. We're just reacting to the choices we make instead of being proactive. And before we make a choice, outweigh, okay, what is the impact of this choice is going to have on my life? Exactly. In a week, in 6 months, in a year, 5 years, who is the people that's going to be affected by my choice? Whatever, I have kids at home, I'm married with a wife at home that relies on me, and I shouldn't be going outside and go fight Kava when I got work tomorrow.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying is like, we just see things as like a reward and punishment, but we don't see things in long term. And I feel like it's just because I feel like that has a major effect on how we grow up. Like going to the party, right? We don't think about, okay, what are the things. But going to the party, how is that gonna impact my life? All we see going to the party is my parents don't want me to go. It's all good. I'll take the beating. I'm gonna go to the party. But then we do that as we grow older. We keep that same logic and way of thinking, and we do that in every.
A lot of people don't realize it. A lot of people don't realize it. It's also the little things, like you could be on your phone, all night. Be like, I can stay up all night. I don't care. I can easily go to work next day and not think too much about,
Yeah.
like things like that. But you do not realize that maybe the next day you're not gonna be at your 100%. You're gonna mess something up that might cost you your job,
Yeah.
or even with school. Like you can be up all night on your phone on TikTok.
Yeah.
You can go to school and not perform your 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna start slacking just because you're all tired from the night before. Because you're thinking, oh, it's all right. I can like tomorrow be tomorrow's problem. And I think that's the problem with not just us polys. I think it is a lot of people that goes through this shit,
Yeah. No. I just thought about something. No, I think I said it wrong. I think as polys, we only think about the punishment. We don't think about the reward.
Oh,
Does that make sense? Because we get disciplined for everything, we always think of things in sense of a punishment.
Yeah.
All right. And we instead of thinking about the reward, that we're gonna get something out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you always think of things as a form of punishment, right, then you're never gonna like do your best or try to go further.
Yeah.
Right? It's like losing weight, right? Everybody knows polys. We're some of y'all need to lose some fucking weight. Right? Like I don't have to even say it, but the numbers are there, right? Chronic disease, all these type of diseases, people having heart attacks. Like I have friends that I've heard like Polynesians getting heart attacks at 30.
Yeah.
People dying at 40. But for us, we always think about the punishment. You know what? Oh man, working out, it's I'm gonna be tired, I'm gonna be painful. It's a punishment. But instead of thinking reward, you know what? If you lose weight, you're gonna have a longer life. If you lose weight, you have more energy to do what you want to do. If you lose weight, you get to take care of your kids and your family. Like when you think of like positive thinking, negative thinking. Positive thinking always gives you, it's always you're always gonna do more when you're positive. When you're negative, you don't feel like doing shit.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, when you really have positive thoughts, you do positive decisions and you get positive results. If you're a negative person, everybody knows if you're a negative, always complaining, blaming, making negative decisions, then you're gonna get negative results. And I feel like what you said, right? We always, because of how we get disciplined, we always think of everything as a punishment.
Yeah.
And then if you ever meet successful people, they don't think about the punishment. They think about the reward.
Exactly.
And they know that the process may be painful. Shit's gonna be hard, but they know that's the price you have to pay to get that reward.
Exactly.
But we never think about the reward because we're always thinking about the punishment and the worst case scenario and the pain and the struggle. And then that's why we, as Polynesians, I feel like sometimes we just settle for everything.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. What do you think?
Like I said, it's more about not thinking long term.
Yeah.
And that long term, it comes with this punishments and rewards.
Yeah.
You're not really careful about it. Let's just say that every decision you make got its positives and got its negatives.
Yeah. And you got a choice to choose which one you want to focus on.
Exactly.
What's more better, thinking about the negative or thinking about the positive?
Exactly. And sometimes a lot of people choose the negative things just because of the moment,
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's easier. It's easier to be negative than to be positive. Yeah.
Exactly. For example, the one you mentioned is losing weight. At the moment, like say you're really comfortable in front of the couch, watching TV and eating some snacks. Like you're really, really comfortable, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, you're not really bothered to do anything. Like you're not really bothered to go work out. You're not really bothered to do something proactive, like something proactive or something. How do you say, like, something good.
So it's beneficial for your life.
Yeah, but you're just comfortable right there, so you're not really thinking like, oh shit, like if I stand up, go work out, I'm gonna get tired and probably not be doing something the rest of the day, and then they don't really think about it long term. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Because long term thinking requires you to like think of a reward.
Exactly.
you can never think long term if you're always thinking about failing in the worst case scenario and or like the pain, the punishment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So that's good. I know we kind of went off track. I know we were talking about the domestic violence, but I just want to bring that topic back up. That question I know we were discussing, like, where does this fear come from? Like, where is this fear of why people are afraid to speak up about domestic violence, and why women are afraid to talk about it or address it with their husbands or with their partner or with anybody who's abusing them, and also why men feel like it's okay to in our culture to like beat women up.
Like, I'm not saying all men are okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying all men. I'm just saying this is what we see. I'm not saying all men. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
But like I said, like they think that pushing someone violently is the best way or the only way to have you listen. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like as if they're treating their wives the same way they treat their kids. Discipline. Like, well, you got, because I know what I'm doing. You got to listen to me. Like, I'm the man of the house. Shit like that.
Yeah.
So they beat their wives up. They beat their kids up, and just be like, I mean, that's what I think. Like, it's not only that, but it's also upbringing. Like, they were not really taught to like, how do you say, like, we all have small talks with your family, like how to treat a woman or how to treat how to treat men.
Yeah.
But we never really had the deep conversation though. Like, it was always little knickknacks, and that's pretty much it. And then you grow up and you thought that, I'm ready to have a family. And when you have a family and you're not proactive about a lot of things, you decide to yourself that maybe I should use violence, for them to listen to me. So that's what I think. But for women to fear, again, I'm gonna say it's more of like, I don't want to talk about it because if my husband finds out, he's gonna beat me more,
Yeah.
And I've had a friend of mine who's tried to reach out to her family because of the shit she goes through. And like, I wish I could have done, like, I told her, like, I wish I could do something, but there's nothing I can do. Like, I'll try my best, but trust me, it's not going to be enough. Like, reach out to your family. And what she told me was, her family don't really care. And that's one of the reasons why women don't like to reach out for help, because it's just fear of rejection and not being able to receive help, And also, if she's caught, she might get beaten up, which is really, really sad. So,
yeah. I'm just trying to digest everything you said. Like, for me, I would understand why people from your family. I'm saying, and when I say that, I don't mean everybody. I'm just saying is, if you grew up in a family where violence or abusive behavior is tolerated, then of course, naturally, that's why you think that's normalized, right? All right. But for me, it's just like sometimes I do see Polynesians who never grew up in that situation, or they never grew up in they grew up in a non-violent family, but then they will get in a relationship with somebody, and that person's abusive, and they'll tolerate that, even though they never saw that their whole life, right? So for me, I'm just trying to figure out, and of course, if you're watching this, I would definitely love to hear comments and feedback on it. But ultimately, like, do you feel like it's the responsibility is put on the person, like, as far as like the family members, showing that type of behavior and not holding each other accountable, or you feel like it's the culture itself, like the Polynesian culture of, okay, no matter, your elders are always right? So even if they do something, even it's wrong, then we can't speak on it. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it a response? Whose fault is it? Because something is wrong. Domestic violence is absolutely something that's not acceptable. That should never happen. So the accountability has to go to somebody. So I'm trying to figure out, is it the accountability? Does it go to the person, Is it the people who's responsible for allowing this shit to happen in the family and not doing anything about it to change it? Or do you feel like the response is it the culture? Like, the not being allowed to speak up, kids not being allowed to challenge their parents. Like I'm just trying to figure out where does this come from so we can figure out what's the solution, because this is something that we need to change.
I feel like it's both a cultural thing and a responsibility
for the person thing. Yeah. So it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Responsibility is something you take up to yourself of knowing what's wrong and what's right.
Yeah.
Like you can be taught a lot of things, but it's your responsibility to take the good things.
Yeah.
And
leave the shit out. Yeah.
For culture, it's not because you're taught not to talk about it. It's just that how do you say it? Like for cultural things, like culture is something you're taught about your background, like
yeah, like values and beliefs.
Yeah. But it's more gonna be responsibility, because I feel like if it was a cultural thing, it would be taught at home, like like you should be like they'll literally tell you like, oh, I think the best way to have that person listen to you is beat him up or beat her up, I was never taught by my family. I was never taught by my family to how do you say it, to if I need someone to listen to me, I need to beat them up, like personally, kind of like it's kind of like their own thing to beat someone up if they're not listening. Like that's why I'm saying it's more of a responsibility and that's personal issue instead of culture. Like I believe culture is something to do with your clothing, something to do with how you like you said, like beliefs and values, But I'm really going all over the place, but I would say it's more of blaming some things that is common sense.
Yeah. No, I feel like this is just my idea. I thought about it, and give me your thoughts on it. I don't want to blame the culture, because I feel like the culture was built on something beautiful.
Yeah.
Right. Like the core principles of like respect, right? The core principles of respect, love, our the things that we follow as Tongans, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe sometimes of the way it's taught, right? And I feel like sometimes in our culture, we teach it in black and white.
Yeah.
And we don't really talk about the gray area. And I feel like because we don't talk about the gray area, so like I give you like example, like, okay, we teach them, hey, parents, you must listen to your parents and be obedient to your parents, right? So that's black and white, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of situations where maybe the parents may be wrong, right? There are a lot of situations where the parents may be toxic, maybe abusive, like you said, maybe violent, right? And obviously, we have to challenge it. There's a gray area, right? And
I think that's when responsibility comes in.
Exactly. So the responsibility for us, but the thing is, because everything is so black and white, and that's how it's taught, and there's no room for discussion and communication, because that gray area, how the reason why we can have that gray area is through communication and discussion.
Yeah.
And because we lack communication and discussion within the Polynesian community, within our culture, that's why everything is so black and white. Exactly. And that's why like all these things happen, right? Because and then when it comes to the person, right? So say somebody that is abusive, right, and is violent. What are they naturally gonna do? They're always gonna use the culture to justify the behavior. That's just normal. That's always normal because when it takes about accountability, nobody wants to take accountability for they always want to take the credit for the good things.
Yeah.
But they never want to take it.
They always quick to point.
But they never want to take accountability when it's the bad things for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. But in order, as in life, you have to take the good, but you also have to take the bad too. And what I feel like a lot of people do is, in the Polynesians do is, when they do something that's bad and that's on them, they'll use the culture. That's when they use culture.
Yeah.
That's when, parents, right? Parents know they're wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Parents know they're fucking up. Right. But they use they don't want to admit to it. That's when they use culture. Hey, papa, hey, and I feel like, and honestly, that's how I feel like. I don't think so I feel like it's a mixture of both. I feel like the individual is using the culture in a way to justify, and the sad thing is that's what they're teaching.
Yeah.
The kids. What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Honestly, like, to everybody out there, like, for goddamn sure that your parents are doing something wrong right now, or like they could have the best intentions, but their methods are wrong. Like, if you're listening, you gotta change. Like, if you think that's a problem, then you gotta look at yourself and make it a selfish responsibility, become a better person, and then in the future, hopefully become a better parent.
Yeah.
And honestly, I try to tell people, like, not everybody thinks the same. Like, my parents maybe not be the same as your parents. So, like, what I can do is I learn from my parents, and I can learn from everybody's parents, and try to make it a self-responsibility, become a better person or a better parent in the future.
Yeah.
Like, regarding both, like, teaching both culture and self-responsibility to my kids in the future.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like your parents aren't open about it, like, hey, you gotta do something about it. Why not be in the future be open to your kids about it?
Yeah.
Like, it's more of like learning. Like, I know we're goddamn sure you're not going to change your parents. Like, little to zero chance that you can actually try to change them. Like, I feel like it's a lifestyle for them to be who they are right now. So you can't really do nothing about it.
Yeah.
So what you can do is have a little self-evaluation and be like, I want to become a better parent. Like, I want to become a better parent. I want to become a better person. So in the future, I want to teach my kids culture in the right way, be more open about it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I think. Like, I've tried to talk to my parents about it and try to talk to them about it, but like I said, it's more of like they won't try to listen to me because I'm younger. And of course the respect is over there. Like, I'm just going to respect them. But I'm also going to self-evaluate and learn. Like, I like to learn from my mistakes, and I like to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, I know that there's not a lot we can do for our parents to change, but there's something we can do, and that's to ourselves and to people in the future,
Yeah. No, that's true. Like, the one thing I do know is, people, and that's one thing I always tell a lot of kids, everybody has their own beliefs and values, right? And our parents, sometimes, like you said it best, sometimes they do things out of the purest of intention, right? So, they were taught that, everything, like we talked about the black and white, right? They were taught growing up as a kid that kids should never, ever question or challenge you.
Yeah.
And we're talking about years of conditioning. They've been taught this ever since they were born.
Exactly.
So it's going to be really, really hard for that parent or for that person to see a different side or see the gray area, right? But that's how they've been taught, right? And also, you add the fact that then you add the human part. What do we know about humans? Most humans are not going to take responsibility for their shit. Yeah. Most people are just, you know, there are very few people like you and me. I'll take responsibility for my mistakes. All the blame on me. Honestly, for me, I take all responsibility. Everything that happens to me, I take responsibility for it because it's my life. I don't care if it's somebody, it was indirectly from somebody else. Hey, at the end of the day, anything has to do with me, I take responsibility. I don't like to put the blame on anybody because I don't want to become a victim, that victim mentality. But that's just me. But I know about most people. Most people won't take responsibility. So you add not only that part, the hardcore value that they've been taught as growing up, but also you add the human part, right? Nobody wants to take responsibility for their bullshit or for their mistakes or terrible things they've done, like you said, the abuse, sexual abuse, the domestic violence. Nobody wants to take responsibility. Like you know, if they have a way out, like a jail-free card, if they have a way out, which is using the culture, of course they're gonna take it.
They're gonna throw it in.
Yeah, of course they're gonna throw it. That's the human. That's what humans do. Exactly. Right? So man, that's facts, man. It's cool. I'm glad we kind of break things down for everybody. Yeah. And to listen. And I feel like that's why I'm so glad that we're having this conversation, because like it's our responsibility to change something, you know. And just as human beings, like I said, we just talk about responsibility. You know, I one of my favorite quotes in life: you always have two choices. All right. Accept the circumstances you were in, or accept the responsibility to change it. Yeah. Right. So you can sit here and complain about why you're getting, and I'm saying this with the bottom of my heart, and I'm not trying to disregard. I'm not trying to show no sympathy to anybody's pain, but you can sit there and complain about getting sexually abused. You can sit here and complain about why your family members are being abusive and beating up your mom or your dad, or you can fucking do something about it.
Do something about it.
All right, and that's a hard choice that you have to make.
Self-responsibility.
Yeah, you got to do something about it. And of course, doing something about it may require some pain. Maybe require, you know, it's going to require some pain because that's life. There's life. There's always a price to be paid. Yeah. But the question I need to ask for you is like, are you going to do something about it? But the sad thing is a lot of people won't. And that's why I'm glad we're doing this.
They're going to fall with the flow, you know?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, damn, my parents fucked up, you know, the way they raised me. You know what I'm doing?
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna do the same thing.
You know? Exactly. And like, I want to encourage whoever's watching this, like, life is gonna keep on pushing, but if you're really sick of life doing this to you, do something about it. You know, like,
hell yeah.
Like, not only help yourself, you can reach out for help. You know, there's a lot of ways how to seek help and do something about it. You know, like it's gonna sound harsh, but really, like, if you really want to,
we're keeping it real.
Really want to change someone, you got to change yourself first. You know, if you want to think like, not being comfortable to talk about a lot of things in the house is always a factor throughout the whole, you know, the past few years. Do something about it. You know, be the change. Be the change where you change the course to something to have a family being open-minded. You know, like, I believe there's a lot of Tongans out there that's actually really changed and open-minded, but the majority is the people always like, you know, people like me and you. You know, we've always grew up not being comfortable to talk about things in the house, just because we're afraid of people, like, you know, slapping respect in it. Like, you can't talk about this, you know what I mean? And it's like I like to think that a lot of shit has happened in my life, but it's my responsibility to do something about it, you know?
That's how life works. And that's why that's something I'm trying to like tell everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't, regardless of what happens to you, it's your responsibility to change it or accept it. Yeah. And and then but I also believe that it's easier to do it. All the changes that we want to talk about, media discussing right now, it's easier to do it with a team, with people. And that's why I'm starting my podcast, so we can talk about this shit and build a community of people to come together. Because I know, like, it's hard to do it by yourself. I'm not gonna lie. I've tried to do it myself, and sometimes it's hard to do something. You're the only one speaking up. You're the only one saying something, and no one's backing you up. I'm glad, like, I have meeting people like you and all my guests that come on my show, and for me to realize, I'm not the only one. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
A little quick example is, I've always grew up in a family where it's violent, alcoholic, and drug addicts. And I always complained about it, but what I did about it was I decided to give up drinking. I decided to give up smoking. I decided to never lay my hand on a woman, you know? And that's what I did about it, you know? Like if I grew up seeing things that I don't like, so I'm gonna take responsibility. That's what I'm trying to say. Like take full responsibility and become a better person in the future. Like I want to have a happy family in the future, you know? Like like I want to be that change to have my kids go. Like I want to have my kids in the future go experience a family more better than how I grew up. You know, like I'm not. I grew up in the family I am right now, but I could at least change the environment and have everybody be comfortable. Have everybody to be open minded. Have everybody to share what they want to share. You know, like I be comfortable to be like, hey, Dad, like I want to talk to you about something, and I'll be always there to be like, yeah, sure, let's talk about it. You know, like open minded about a lot of things like that. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's ultimately that's like I feel like for us, right? You know, that's the ultimate solution. Is like as Polynesian, as Tongans, like if you're watching this, like regardless of what happened to you or whatever issue you have with your family, whatever, you know, as long as you know it's what you want to do, the change you want, as long as it's not hurting nobody and not hurting you, all right. That's always a rule of thumb I always live by. You know, I always want to make sure that what I want to do. Sometimes like you want something for yourself, but it's actually not, like you said, not beneficial. But as long as it's not hurting you and it's actually not hurting anybody, it's actually helping you and helping everybody. I feel like that's the right choice of action. Because I don't know what everybody else is going through. You know, it could be there's so many things that everybody's struggling with. But what I do know is, you know, whenever you do something that helps you and it helps other people, that's usually the best choice. that's usually the better choice. You know, if it's helping you and also helping other people, I feel like go ahead.
There's a quote by this one famous guy. I forgot who it was, but it's like, if you were born poor, it is not your fault. But if you
die poor,
if it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people say that it's about money, but I feel like it could be anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you were born into a family that's very abusive, you know, very violent,
alcoholic, sexual abuse, whatever it is,
exactly. You know,
it's not your fault.
It's not your fault, you know. But what you can do is have a different lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to share over here is like, I know a lot of people say that you can do something to change your family, but
no, you can't.
Yeah.
The only like we just talked about responsibility, right? The only person that could change somebody is themselves. So you can't change somebody as much as you're willing to try. Maybe there is maybe a little influence here and there.
You can try help, but if they don't want to help themselves, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. And then you guys are gonna take the responsibility. And like I feel like that's something that everybody out there just want to say it's not your fault. Because I know a lot of times, you know, people want to blame themselves, right? And that's where the depression comes from. Right. Is when you blame yourself of why life is that way. Because I've been that way where I felt like I want to put the blame on me. And then I've gone through my own issues of depression. I've gone through my own issues of mental health. When I always put the blame on me or something that somebody did to me, right? But I just want everybody out there, you know, it's sometimes, you know, that's just life, you know. Sometimes there's terrible people out there that do terrible things to people.
Yeah,
you know, that's just real life right there. And if somebody did terrible thing to you, you know, that's not a reflection of you. You know, that's a reflection on them. So that's not your fault.
Yeah.
Right. That's not your fault. All right. And I say this with like the bottom of my love and compassion to everybody out there. Just understand, like, it's not your fault, and let that shit go, and take responsibility. You know, make the hard decisions that's best for you, and who could give a fuck what people say?
Exactly.
I'm just gonna keep it real 100 with you right now. You know, who gives a shit to what people say? Because those people that are judging you don't know what you've been through and have never gone what you went through. And if they did go through what you went through, they wouldn't be talking.
Exactly.
And some of them would have been last another day, but you did, right? So I just want to speak that love to y'all, everybody out there. That yeah, it's not your fault, and take the responsibility. All right, and also I want to say this before you. I want to say this before you go ahead.
Yeah.
If you don't take the responsibility to change something, do not fucking complain about the result.
Yeah.
All right. If you're tired of somebody beating you up, if you don't do nothing, then don't complain about it. That's why I always tell people all the time, like, do something about it. And I say this with love, and I say this with all my love out there, with everybody that's watching. Do something about it. But when I hear, sometimes I do hear people complain about something, about what's happening to them, and they don't do shit.
Exactly.
But they just want to talk. And I'm like, hey man, you can't complain about something you're not willing to change. All right. Man up, whatever you want to do, ask help, ask a friend, get help, whatever you have to do, but do something. But don't just sit there and complain, because nothing changes from that. Go ahead.
Exactly. Like I feel like the harsh reality is you're not gonna get everybody's approval.
Yep.
Not everybody thinks the same way as you.
Yep.
You know, so you gotta do every means necessary, even if it's helping yourself or seeking help from other people. You gotta do whatever is necessary for you to do what you gotta do to become a better person. You know, become more happier. In general, like I've already accepted the fact that I can't change my family, but what I can do is I can change myself to be a better person for the future. You know.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow the crowd. Like I want to have my own way of doing things when I have a family on my feet in the future.
Yeah. And the one thing I do want to say to everybody out there, and I know for me, I have my own family, and there's a lot of things I disagree with, right? And I've never gone through what you've gone through, but all I'm saying is, you should never have hate towards your family, no matter what they did to you.
Yeah.
Because hate always builds and leads to more hate and more, emotions that you may not want. Right. So I feel like it's so important for you to find peace. And that's something we always talk about before, mental health and this and this. Sometimes people make changes, but they're always living in the past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're making changes, and I give you props for doing that. But you always hold yourself back because you're always looking in the past. So one thing I always want to say is, like, if you want to make those changes, great. But and no matter what happens to you, let that go and find peace with it, and just fall faith in God, whatever you want to do, but love. But always for me is I always realized in my life that all the people in my past that did me wrong, that hurt me, that hate always held me back. That always held me back from things I should do or making certain decisions for my life, because one thing I realize now is when you do good things happen to you.
Yeah.
Karma, right?
Yeah.
That's just how life works. So that's why I learned to let that hate go. And like I told you, like I mentioned earlier, what people did to you, that's a reflection on them.
Yeah.
That's not that has nothing to do with me. So I learned to understand that and just moved on. And then I just realized, like, when I just love unconditionally and just be a kind person and do good things and try to strive for a better, be a better person, then I really don't fall into a lot of negativity. I still go through my ups and downs. That's just life. But for some reason, blessings and positive stuff, positive attractions come to me. And I just want to say that to everybody. I know you go through some deep stuff, but so I do want to ask you is, I know you shared a lot of things you've gone through in your life. How do you feel about that? Do you still hold that? Have you found peace with it? I'm just interested. How have you dealt with it and still be able to move on with your life? I want to ask you personally.
Honestly, what happened to me when I was a kid, during my grandma's funeral, like, I've already accepted the fact. Like, I haven't really talked to the person who did it to me, but like, I gotta also say.
But do you need that conversation? Honestly,
no. Like,
yeah. You don't honestly. You don't really need to have that conversation.
Yeah. But I feel like there's a difference between trying to forget your past and trying to accept it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can ever forget your past, but what you can do is you can accept it. Like, it's already happened. So there's nothing much you can do about it, you know?
When I say let go about your past, I mean let it go so it doesn't control you. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. It doesn't emotionally control you. When I think about all the hurtful people, it doesn't trigger me to get negative. So I've like you said, I've accepted it, but I've let it go. I know a lot, but if you always hold on to that, then when you ever think of that memory or you actually think of that person, it still controls you emotionally, and still sometimes people still get triggered by it, and that can cause a lot of a lot of pain in people's lives. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
exactly. And it's basically like it's basically accepting the fact that it happened in the past.
Yeah,
and again come to full responsibility to try to learn from it, you know.
Yeah,
and if there's anything you can do about it, just be a better person, you know, like learn from it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. We got some real talk right here, man. We got some real some real talk, everybody. Yeah, like I said, guys, we're just keeping it real, y'all. Keeping it honest. I do want to talk about. I know you mentioned the judge and criticism, or the hypocrisy in the Polynesian community, and of course, I'm saying that it doesn't happen a lot, but I do want to talk about that because I feel like sometimes, a lot of times, right? Like, you know that saying. A lot of times, Polynesians will say, "What's that saying? Do what I say, but know what as I do."
Yeah, right.
I feel like a lot of that happens. Happens a lot in the Polynesian communities. You know, they'll criticize the judges, but they're actually doing the same thing. So I want to open it up to you if you wanted to talk about that.
Exactly. As just I don't know, like as just their way that they thought it was right for them to it's more of like not thinking about outside the box, you know. They thinking that's the only way how to teach people. So I don't blame them. Like I blame, like if I were to blame anybody for them being like that, it's basically their own parents, you know.
Yeah.
Or their home environment they grew up in. So I try not to think too much about it because there's nothing much I can do. Like I'll try my best, but can't guarantee they will change, you know.
Yeah, no, that's something that I always see a lot. I see one thing I always see within Polynesians is like whenever somebody is like has a different opinion or is doing something different, or trying to elevate their life or trying to be better, there's always this initial response to always criticize and judge people, and which is for me it is sad, because I know there's a lot of Polynesians out there that do want to take responsibility, like we just mentioned earlier, and they want to make a difference, they want to make a change in their life, but there's always this initial response to always criticize and hate. And I remember I think one of the videos I saw you for the first time ever was I don't know if you remember, but there was this girl on my TikTok. She did a podcast with me, and she was talking about sexual abuse, and she mentioned the culture.
Yeah.
And then everybody immediately just attacked her, man, and criticized her.
Honestly,
right? And this is before you say something. This is like the hypocrisy I was talking about, right? Because a lot of the things people are saying, hey, she was like, they will say something on the comments, respect, the Tongan culture. The reason why we have the men and the women go to different rooms is because of respect, And then they'll talk about respect, and then right after they talk about it, they'll immediately trash her verbally. So that's the hypocrisy I'm talking about Polynesian people. It's easy. Everybody wants to correct somebody else.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to correct themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, you talk about it. Yeah.
I also made a video of what she said. Like her actual question was, like she didn't understand why.
Yeah. She was asking a legitimate question.
Yeah.
She didn't know. She didn't know.
Like it was out of the ordinary. Like it was out of pocket where she just put in about the uncle touching her and shit. But
yeah,
that's a mistake, Like
yeah.
And everybody was just all quick to trash her just because of what she did, and like I would say not to put down other people. Like if they're confused, like help them.
Yeah, yeah.
Why so quick to judge and be like, oh well, like person like I don't know how to say it, but like how do you say it? It's more like help them.
Yeah.
Like try to help them understand, not trash them.
Comes a lot with I think that comes a lot with the how we're raised, honestly. Like because I used to be like that. I used to be very judgmental, I'm not gonna lie. But then, after I grew and really just did my own personal growth, when I went through my own personal growth journey and trying to understand other people, I learned to kind of be more empathetic and be more understanding with people, and also just understanding life in general. Like everybody you meet, you don't know the story of what they went through in their life. You only see like a chapter of their life, but you don't see the whole story. So you can't fully judge somebody of what you see, because you don't really know the backstory, you don't know the decisions they're making. But yeah, I feel like that's I saw with her. I think that's something we need to teach with Polynesians. I think that also comes with like, I don't know if I want to ask you, do you feel like that comes from like the way we're raised, especially when it comes to like I'm trying to say it, the lack of communication, like to like understand somebody else, or do you feel like I'm sure, because I'm trying to think of why are we so quick to judge? Like I'm just trying to figure out that question. Like why are we so quick to judge, or why don't we lead with love and understanding? Some people have it, like but most people are just very quick to judge, and for me it's like how, like, one thing I saw was what the reason why I had to make that video, right? I made my own response video to that, because I just saw like all these people trashing her and saying some terrible things that I wouldn't even say to another human being.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like people saw that in their comments, and nobody wanted to like, hey man, I know she asked a question, I know she made a mistake, but that's not how you talk to a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. So that's why I had to make my own response video. But it was sad to see like nobody holding each other accountable. Is it because what I ask you, is it that because of like the lack of accountability growing up that we had as kids? I'm trying to figure out why people are so quick to judge.
I feel like it's more it's your environment that you grow up in, and also basically you're human, like you're always quick to judge, but you don't how do you say it? Like you're always quick to judge unless someone sits down with you and be like, hey, like before you judge anybody else, you gotta look at yourself first. Like I think basically when you grow up, being judgmental, it's a human thing,
No,
but
you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like a human thing. Mm-hmm. And also growing up in that environment
only makes it worse.
Where it makes it worse. Like you're not being told like, hey, stop judging us, huh? Like I'll be honest, I've had family told me not to judge people just because of how they, like, I won't lie, I was a judgmental person.
Yeah. I was the same way.
But I grew up with family members that actually told me like, hey, before you judge them, you gotta look at yourself. Take a good look at yourself. If you're better, then you're good to judge. But if you're not, you shouldn't be saying it.
And that's 99% of the time we're not.
That's why I'm like honestly, I've learned a lot from it. Like I've learned judgmental. Like if there's any way I can help, I'll try.
Yeah.
Not always quick to be like always laughing and mocking them for being the way they are, and not trying to be proactive about it and try to help them out. Like I feel like being judgmental is a human thing. Trust me. Like a lot of
it's human. It's a human thing.
Like it's a human thing until until you're hit with the other person's perspective.
I just thought about this, and I remember I was reading something. It said that you know, criticism and judgment comes from insecurity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is. I was just thinking about that, and I was really like, oh man, I was thinking about the way our Polynesian kids raise our kids. The way Polynesian parents raise their kids, right? They always raise them to be insecure, right? They can't express themselves. They can't speak up and talk about it, right?
Yeah.
They'll be disciplined for every little thing. They're disciplined. There's no communication, right? You can't communicate how you feel. So the way we grow up in our families in our household, right? It's very tough love, right? Very tough love. So there's a lot of Polynesians, and of course, grow up very insecure. And then what do insecure people do? Like you said, what is the human nature to do for somebody that's very insecure? Criticize somebody else so they can make themselves feel better.
Yeah.
Oh man, we just came up with this. We just reverse engineered all this shit.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't realize it, you know?
Yeah, people don't realize like that. A lot of people don't realize they're really insecure. Like the reason why they're judging and criticizing, they don't really have never looked into them themselves and looked at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid to look in that mirror because that person in the mirror is going to be big as hell.
Yeah. Self-ego can,
yeah. Maybe the mirror is too small for the size of that Polynesian.
It could be.
You need a bigger mirror.
Yeah. And our people lack self-reflection, you know?
Yeah.
Of not taking the time to be more proactive and be like, damn, like I'm going through the same shit. But, you know, it's out of jealousy and out of, like you said, insecurity.
I remember I did a podcast with this one lady, and she was talking about like, and I want to talk about this for everybody listening. Like we have to really pay attention to the words of what we're speaking to our kids.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like we don't realize as Polynesians, we can be very harsh with our words. Hey, I should sell it. Stupid. Balik kai tai. Right. But I know it's funny, right? It's funny to talk about it, right? Because I've heard that shit growing up. But people don't realize like the mental repercussions or ramifications it does to the psychology of a child. That if you keep telling your kid, balik kai tai, or the fascisella, they're stupid, they're ignorant, they're dumb, they're gonna grow up into feel number one, they're gonna grow up believing that way, but that's gonna be a very insecure person.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, naturally, when people are insecure, like we talked about before, like they're gonna judge and criticize. So I think as Polynesians, like we should build our kids up, right? Build our kids up, like encourage them, build them. If they make a mistake, we don't always have to like resort to like the most extreme criticism and punishment if somebody makes a small mistake. If somebody failed a class, you don't have to say you're stupid.
Yeah.
You just say, hey, you had a bad test. You can take away those words. There's certain words you don't have to use. You know what I'm saying? Like what I just remember I had the conversation and like because we talk about insecurity right now. No, a lot of it comes from the verbal abuse that we hear as a child, and then it makes us feel small. It makes us feel insecure, and when people who feel small feel insecure, they try to make other people feel small and insecure, right? And I never realized that until now, just having that conversation with you right now. I'm just trying to think about it because, like we mentioned earlier, right? Common sense.
Yeah.
Right. Like we all go to church. We all learn about Jesus Christ's love. We all, but for some reason we can't show it to other people, and we're always. But then I realized it's not even about religion. It's not even about what we learn at church. It's just people are just naturally insecure.
Yeah.
And a lot of insecure people out there. And that's why it's like, as Polynesians, it is sad to see for me that, we just respond with criticism and judgment all the time.
How do you say it? I don't know if it's just me, but I grew up, my last year of high school, like, I was considered a nerd, like I was always about my, and also sports too. Like I graduated with a 4.0 GPA from high school.
Hey, congrats, man. Mali.
But you see, that's the thing. like they think like, oh, um, with this perfect GPA, we're gonna expect everything out of you, be perfection, nothing but perfection. And honestly, there's a lot of times like I will pretend to act dumb. Like I said, I don't know if this is just me or I like to pretend like I act dumb just because I can get out of a lot of situations,
Got you.
And I've always been called stupid most of the time. Like I've even had family like I've never met anybody dumber than you.
Yeah.
It hurts, but at the same time, like I'm kind of like, okay, so they're not going to give me more responsibility. But as you say, like whatever you say to your kids or anything like that, it could be a very negative repercussion on them.
Yeah.
Like for me, like every time I fuck up, every time I mess up, they'd be like, so quick to judge. Like, oh, like didn't you have a 4.0 in high school, and like why you why you like this right now?
Yeah.
Like this is how you know behid the machine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 4.0,
things like that.
Yeah.
They keep on saying that, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm to myself, I'm gonna act stupid and just have them not expect the best out of me no more. Like really, like say for example, if they ask me to clean the garage, for a little example, they asked me to clean the garage. I'd go over there and I'd be like, I can do this and this and that, but I'm too lazy. So I'll just do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and be like, hey, I'm done. And they're gonna know that it's not to perfection. So they're gonna be like, oh, you have a 5.0 or like it's someone who graduated with a 4.0 GPA. So I'm just like, fuck it, whatever, So it's things like that. Like it all became from me doing a little mistake, and they're like, oh, you're stupid, like why you gotta be a dumbass? I've never met anybody more dumber than you. I'll be honest with you. And I'm just like, oh, like I'm like, okay, but honestly, it hurts, It kind of hurts. So I just try to run away from all the responsibility of, like, in a way where they don't expect from me no more,
Yeah.
Like I want.
Go ahead. Yep.
I don't want them to expect the best out of me, Like, I mean, I can do my best, but the way you're like the way you're actually like, whenever I make a mistake and you're over here judging me, like talking shit about how I did my school, and they're like, oh, you probably got your GPA handed to you, like you probably didn't do shit about
it. Yeah.
That kind of hurts, but you can't say it, like just laugh about it, just walk away. So yeah, like, but
no, so those people that it's funny. I mean, that's something that happens all the time, right? And I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it with other people, my friends. And we talk about like the hypocrisy. Number one, the person said that have never had 4.0 in their life. Right. So the reason I want to say this because I know there's a lot of colleagues going to watch this, and this is happening to them. So I want to let them know, like, understand that when people put you down and when people try to belittle you or to make you feel small, those people are just insecure. And sadly, that also happens to our own parents, our elders in our family, that they'll see their own children or they'll see their own younger siblings or younger cousins or nieces or nephews, and because that they're not secure themselves because of your greatness and your light, it makes them feel uncomfortable around you because of you being great, being smart, being fulfilled, reminds them of their dumbass. Yeah. All right. They don't want to look in the mirror, so they want to make you feel better at themselves and tell you. So just for everybody out there, like that's going through this, just understand, like, that has nothing. Whatever they say to you, that one thing. One thing about me is I'm a very practical. I'm about facts.
Yeah.
All right. So like, if you say something to me, you gotta give me some facts. Like, what I'm saying? Like, if somebody says something to me, it's not factual. It does not even. I don't even make time for it to process in my mind. Hey, you're dumb. All right, that's just an opinion. That is not a fact. Yeah. Like, do you want to compare the GPAs? Do you want to compare? You know what I'm saying? Like, bring some facts to the situation. And yeah, for everybody out there, like, don't get emotional. Just number one, somebody tells you they're stupid. That's an opinion of them. Most of the time comes from their own insecurity. The fact is, if you have a 4.0, yeah, you're a smart intellectual person. That is a fact that you have a 4.0, and people who have a 4.0 have intellect, and you didn't just fall into 4.0. You worked for it, and you got to where you got today. And I know that's the reality of a lot of kids. And you said a lot of kids will hide that or dumb themselves down so they can fit in, and for the environment. And I see it. How many times I've seen that when I have friends or family members I know that are very smart, very gifted, very talented, but they'll purposely act dumb, or they'll purposely act like they're mediocre or average, so they can fit in. Because like I said, some people just can't handle that abuse. Me and you were like, we have that mentality. We're very mentally strong, so we can take that, and we grew to become that. But I do realize that, some of these kids, and of course, this doesn't even happen as an adult. Some of these conversations happen around younger, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So sometimes when you're younger, you don't really have the mental fortitude or toughness to able to handle that from a lot of people. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I know there's a lot of people watching this, and they're purposely hiding that light, that greatness within them, and then you just gotta let it loose. Let that shit loose.
Just do it so my family don't expect the best out of me. They expect you to whatever you do to be to perfection. And I'm just bro, I'm not even
But don't you feel like that? But don't you feel like that holds you back a little bit?
Yeah, it does, honestly.
Yeah. You can't really do. You can't really do the most you can.
Yeah.
Because what you could do, instead of dedicating your whole life to being great, right?
Like I said, like that little example of cleaning the garage. I already told myself I can do this, I can do that, and do this, but I'm gonna just do this, and that, and just call it good, because why not? Fuck it,
Yeah.
Running responsibility. That's
what I'm saying.
On that, I realize it, but I got to work on myself with that,
Yeah. And I went through the same experience for myself. Last year I left. I had a job I was working for 7 years, and I left all that behind to pursue what I'm doing now. I'm trying to be a content creator and have my own podcast. I'm trying to be a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I remember when I left, I heard there was a lot of criticism. Indirectly, people saying things behind. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm like this dumbass person or loser to leave his job to go pursue something else. For me, I just had, I did I just felt like this is something I wanted to do. It makes me happy. And I could care less what people say. I got to do me. And, and here I am doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
If I didn't make that choice, this conversation probably would never happen.
Right.
Right. I just told myself I got to dedicate myself to what I want to do, and put in the work, and put in the time, and I try to strive towards my goals and dreams. So just understand, for everybody out there, to want to say that whenever you have something that you want for your life, just understand that. I think you said it best. Many people won't understand that, right? So I know you're gonna have your own goals, and if you're a smart person, just understand. You talk about 4.0, right? If you're a smart person, just understand that most people are not gonna be smart around you. And just understand that I just want to put it out there for everybody. If you were born with something that God gave you, that made that you have a unique skill, a unique talent that God gave you, just understand that most people are not going to understand that gift. I'm not going to understand that mind, the mind you have. I'm not going to understand that passion you have, whatever it is, right? And that is okay. And that's okay. I just want to put it out there. That is absolutely okay, right? You don't have to waste your time to convince them. You don't have to waste your time trying to prove to them. You got to prove nobody. Yeah, the only person you got to prove is yourself and God. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything, because number one, God didn't give them that vision or that ability to them. They gave it to you. And the only people that can understand you are people who have the same mindset as you. People who probably have a 4.0.
But I'm just sharing because it's how my family's treating me right now.
No. Yeah.
Like ever since I graduated high school, it's like, oh, since you graduated high school, like everything you gotta do around here in the house, you gotta be to perfection. And like I'm like that, you know, like I try to have it to perfection, but when you sit there and try to criticize me and be like, hey, you're a dumbass, like why you like seem like you got your 4.0 just handed to you, like you didn't work for it, you know? And it kind of tears me apart, and I'm just like, you know what, fuck you. You know, fuck you guys. I'm just gonna do my own shit. You know, like if I'm ever given a task by you guys, I'm not, you know, trying to not do my best, but just do whatever I can.
Yeah, because what do you call it? What they say, do everything in perfection.
Yeah.
Are they perfect?
Hey. Like,
no, so what, yeah.
I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm not gonna how do you say, I'm not gonna think too much about it. I'll do whatever I can, get the fuck it done with, and then I'm out, you know, something like that.
You know, one thing that helped me of not caring what people think is like I became a very like a rational, like practical person. For me, like it's all if it's not facts, if it's not factual, or if it, you know, then I don't really like worry about that.
Yeah.
Like when people give me opinions or feelings or judgment, criticism about just no facts, no experience for what they're talking about, right? For me, it allowed me to like kind of like not be emotionally triggered by when people say something. I just want to put it out there because I know a lot of people, you know, the opinions really matter, and it's really, really hard, especially when it's coming from people that, you know, you consider close to a family, right? Yeah. It's always the opinions of the closest people that hurt you the most, right? Because these are people you love, and the people you love the most are the closest. You always over appreciate their opinion.
Exactly.
But so like that's why I always remind people, like, you take some time to be with yourself, find out who you are, work on yourself. Like you said, work on yourself. But just understand, like, you know, one of my favorite quotes is like, you know, if it's not paying my bills, then your opinion don't matter to me. You know, just real life shit. Yeah. Like if your opinion is not gonna better my life, pay my bills, or fix my credit,
right?
Then I do not respectfully. I want to say respectfully, I don't care what you say. Right? Yeah. Give me something value that's a fact. Give me something that's gonna add value to my life. So I just want to say it out there because I've seen it so many times where people complain, how come there's no Polynesian in this? How come the Polynesian this? How come we don't have God? We don't have our Polynesian are not excelling, not elevating? Yeah, because we're constantly putting them down. We're constantly calling them dumbasses, right? Like it's like the hypocrisy of why parents complain about why their kids are not rising up and be doctors and become lawyers, but at the same time they're criticizing them
like
to be dumbasses.
Like at least help me, not trying to be like, you know, like I wish my family could hear me out because I really can't say this in front of them, but like,
yeah,
like help me, like I need help, and you're just fucking telling me how I should have been when you could have helped me, like, you know, like help me. How do you say?
Yeah,
like if you want me to do something for you, help me help you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when somebody's insecure, like, they can't help you because they can't even help themselves. You can't expect to help somebody that refuses to help their own situation.
Right.
That's why you just gotta go with like I said, just go with the flow, man. Go where go where God needs you to be, man. And just but yeah, I'm glad we had that talk. That was a good topic, man. I'll keep it real there with those people out there. And if the shoe fits, I'm talking about you.
Exactly.
Say it with love, man. I'm just keeping you saying with love, man. I do want to talk about real quick religion and church. I know we talked about it before. I know you talked about how you kind of took a little pilgrimage or sabbatical away from your own little spiritual journey, and I'm very interested to hear that because I have my own thoughts on that about the difference between religion and relationship with God.
Growing up in Tongan, you always like, hey, wake up, we're going to church, you know? And you go you go to church, you hear them reading the Bible, and teaching you a lot of things. Like honestly, it helps. But to have it installed in your mind that you got to go to church in order for you to go to heaven, I don't believe in that shit. So it's been over a year now that I haven't been to church because, I mean, a lot of personal things that happen.
I mean, all that stuff that happened to you, right? That
Yeah.
that definitely gonna have an impact on how you see things.
Yeah. And it's more of like, because going to church is no different than going to school.
Mhm.
It's more of going to learn and all that. But I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of preachers, and they just do church for them to use your money, to receive money, and like they'll be advertising. They're like, oh, we're trying to help the orphanage and all that, but then they turn out with a brand new boat, and I was like, what the fuck, like, are you actually doing this church to actually help us, like, or are you just doing this to receive money to live a luxury life? I'm always questioning that, so I just decided. And like also hypocrisy in church too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like you see a lot of people go to church and act all holy and shit until they come out, they don't learn from it. Like they're not being a better person after coming out of that church, after learning what they've just heard. So I don't really go there just because. Not only that, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I can learn. Like I want to learn the word of God in my own pace.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
there's a
why.
different. Okay, yep.
So that's why. Yeah, that's why I personally don't go to church. Yeah, just because of that. Like if I go to church, if I feel good, like I feel like, hey, I want to learn something new, I'll go to church.
Mhm.
Because I believe that going to church is for school. It's like school. You got to learn how to better yourself. But just being around people that goes to church and then comes out and not even changed, like they'll ask you, like, what do you learn from church? Like I'd want to ask you the same thing, but you're not going to answer. Like I don't want to, like, I want to hit you that Uno reverse card, but honestly, you're gonna bring out that being disrespectful. So yeah.
No, it's like I mentioned to you before. I've decided to take a little break, a vacation, or like spiritual journey, I'll call it a spiritual pilgrimage on my own. And the reason why, because then that's something I always tell people. There's a difference between religion and faith, right? And our relationship with God, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen it, and I don't have to. Everybody knows this already. If you watch this, just because you go to church every single Sunday does not determine the character of a person, the quality of the character of a person.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people who go to church, but they are terrible people morally, right? Exactly. I know a lot of people that don't go to church, but one of the most kindest and most compassionate and beautiful people that you will ever meet in your life. All right. So for me, like the correlation between church and the type of person you become, that's absolutely nonsense. And people telling you right now that if you don't go to church, then you're not going to be saved. If you don't go to church, then you're a bad person. Those are probably the most hypocritical people in the world. I'm not saying they are, but I'm just saying that's probably one of the signs. Exactly. Right. So yeah, and that's something I realized for myself. Yeah. So for a lot of I feel like everybody has to go through their own spiritual journey and figure out themselves. Because I think that we talked about before when it comes to parenting, the black and white. There's no gray area.
Yeah.
I feel like the church can be like that sometimes, right?
Exactly.
It's very black and white. If you sin, you're a bad person. If you don't sin, you're a good person. But that's not how life works. In life, there's a lot of gray area. There's a lot of situations and a lot of things that we do, they may not reflect what the church believes or what the traditions or the principles of the church. But that does not determine that you're a bad person, right? I'll give a perfect example, like mental health, right? If somebody commits suicide in mental health, a lot of people will sit here and judge, oh, that person's going to hell because they committed suicide, right?
And
not knowing why that person
committed it, like
exactly, don't know what the shit they went through.
Yeah,
they could have been abused, they could have been beat, they could have been molested. There's so much shit that people don't know, but that's what I'm saying is the black and white, and I'm just using that as an example. And there's so many examples to use, right? There's so many things that we go through in life that may not reflect, they may go against what the church is, but there's a reason behind it. Like not everything's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I just like, there's a lot of things that the church couldn't answer for me, because like I said, I have my own shit. I go through my own shit, and I'm trying to figure out my own answers, and the church wasn't giving me those answers. Right?
Honestly.
So, and of course, I need to find those answers for myself, and that's why I, decided. And then, of course, I'm Mormon, by the way. So, like, my ward, if you're watching this, shout out to you. I still love you guys. I'm not saying, I say, I'm not saying all people. Like, there are a lot of good people at church, a lot of beautiful people, good people at church. But I'm just saying, for me, I need to find the answers I was looking for. So, my church is, my ward is watching this. To say, shout out to my ward real quick. I still got love for you. I still have love for you. I don't, and I do really have a really supportive and good ward. My little Fijian branch back in the Bay. So I love my people out there. So, but like I said, this is my personal journey for myself, and that's what I'm saying is for a lot of millennials, right? For a lot of younger people, the stuff that we go through on a daily basis when it comes to like bullying or social media or all the shit that we go through. Sometimes like the church doesn't talk about those things.
Exactly.
And sometimes like, a lot of things that we go through or do as normal millennials growing up in America, sometimes those things that can really be looked down upon or be judged by church, right? So it's just for me, it's yeah. If you want to add on to that,
I feel like, remember how I told you that church is kind of like school?
Yeah.
The church is kind of like school spiritually,
Yeah.
To help you spiritually. Like I won't lie, I feel like I'm a believer. Like I'm not religious, but I'm a believer,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm already satisfied spiritually, and that's why I kind of gave up going to church. But I still learn about the Word of God. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like I'll learn about it and try to learn more with my own pace. So that's why that's why it's kind of wrong to have people say that, oh, like you got to go to church because it's the right thing to do. And I won't lie, there's a lot of people who go to church just because, just to go to church, not to learn, but just to show up.
Yeah, like church. I feel like a lot of people go to church because it's like to keep up their public image, right? To keep up their reputation, to keep up with their reputation or their public image.
You took the word.
And instead of going there for the real purpose of it, because you love to go to church because you want to hear God's message, but a lot of people do it for social and personal reasons, their own agendas, right? And also not only people, but also like to keep it 100 with even the leaders of the church. They have their own agendas. They have their own the things they want to gain. Personal gains from the church. And for me, that's why I just, like I said, I wanted to figure out my own spiritual journey. But also a question I want to ask everybody out there, and this is a very deep question. I want you to ask yourself: do you believe in God because you believe in God, or do you believe in God because your parents taught you to believe in God?
Yeah.
Right. And that's something like we've talked about answers. Like I needed to find that answer for myself. Like I believe in God not because it was taught to me. I believe in it because it's my choice. It's something. It's a pure, it was organic.
Yeah.
It's an organic feeling, and not something that was
you had
introduced.
You had your foundation, like you had your own foundation in coming up to the fact that you believe in God.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the same with me. Like, even though my family are very religious, but I had to find out for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because a lot of people just go with the flow. Like you said, we just said go with the flow, right? You know that old quote. Even dead fish they flow with the current.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
Even dead fish they flow with the current. So like for me it was like, because the reason why because I love God so much, and that's why I needed to take this seriously before anything else. Like, exactly. I needed to make sure that this person I love so much, I wanted to make sure that it was really genuine. It was real. That this is something that's within me, and I want it for myself, and not because I'm doing it because of the social pressure for my parents or what the world wants me to do.
Exactly.
And I could care less what everybody thinks. Like, so for me, I wanted to make sure that this relationship with me and him, and this person that's always blessed me, always been with me my whole life, I just want to make sure, because I love him so much, that I want to make sure that this is something this is something I wanted. I'm choosing for myself and for my own life. And yeah, because I feel like a lot of people, and that's why I feel like a lot of people struggle with religion, right? Or struggle with church, because if you don't really have that real organic faith and belief with God, then if your foundation is not strong, if you're doing it for the purpose of somebody else, and that's why your faith gets rocked.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's not really yours. Right. And for me, at this point of my life, go ahead.
When something bad happens, and for a fact that you're a believer in God, like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But if you believe in God because of another foundation of somebody else, something bad happens to you, it's like you're saying to yourself, like, damn, like, I thought this person taught me about God being so loving and so caring, and not really finding the all root of it. Like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Something good happens to you, probably you deserve it. Something bad happens to you, it's either a test, you deserve it.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like your school analogy, right? If you go to school because you really want to go to school, nothing is gonna stop you from going to school.
Exactly.
Right? You're gonna get the best education. But if you go to school because your parents told you to school, and you're forced, then when any little temptation, you're gonna fall for it, or obstacle, because it's not something you really wanted to do in the first place. That's why I feel like I need to find an answer for myself, because I feel like a lot of the time back in the day when my faith wasn't really there, and I used to get rocked, I used to fall for every temptation. I used to every bad thing happened to me, I always let it stop me, or I used to complain or be a victim. But I realized, like, the moment I started taking responsibility, but also making sure that this is something I wanted.
Yeah.
Right? This is my faith.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life right now I know this is something I choose for myself, and nothing is gonna stop me and nothing is gonna prevent me to pursue my relationship with God and try to be a better man every single day. Of course, do I have my mistakes? Do I fuck up, y'all? Of course.
We're human.
I'm not perfect, y'all. I make mistakes all the time. But because I know my Savior and his love for me is real and it's unconditional, and he doesn't, he always wants me to come back. And I know I'm choosing to go back to him because this is something I value. We always talk about it before, like priorities, right? Like in life, we're always going to do things that reflects our priority. Yeah. Like if you prioritize something, you're always going to figure out a way to make it happen. You're not going to make an excuse.
Exactly.
So unless you get to a point of, I feel like you can never prioritize. God can never be like a priority for you if it's not genuine, if the faith is not real. But like I said, that's a journey everybody has to go through.
And I got a little add on. I feel like a lot of people think that when something bad happens to you, it means God is not loving,
Oh, yeah.
Personally, I feel like if something bad or something good happens to you, it's a test.
Well, there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, there's a purpose behind it. Like, for example, I would say the harshest moment of my life was when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a lot of fucking temptation to commit suicide and just give up my faith, because of a lot of bad shit happening to me. And I realized that it was all just a test, I gave up my belief in religion just because of all the bad things happening. And then after that shit happened, after that, it was just always a lot of good things happening. And then I was just like, damn, and I'm always, a lot of people say that, oh, if something bad happens to me, it's God's plan for me. I'm just like, it could be, and it could be a test,
Yeah.
To test your belief, to test how you're going to react to it, just don't think out of it outside of the box, because life is going to keep pushing. Life is going to give you a lot of problems, but never something you can't handle,
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, like one of my favorite quotes is God will never give you a challenge that he know you couldn't overcome.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And what was I going to say? You said something. Yeah, I think you said something. Bad thing. I remember, we talked about the black and white. Our parents, always teaching us, you do this, you go to heaven. You can do this, you go to hell. I feel like that also reflects sometimes as kids, that every single bad thing that happens to us, we always see it as a punishment.
Exactly.
Right, but not necessarily. Sometimes the things that happen to us, it's not a punishment. It's actually a blessing. The God is giving you a challenge, an opportunity to redirect you in your life. But if you always see something as a punishment, we talked about before, then we're never gonna take the responsibility to take action, right? So, I believe that's why today, I believe in the thing, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And you may not know what the answer is, what the reason is. That's we only find out those answers by moving forward.
Exactly.
When you move forward, you look back. Oh, that's why this happened. Right, but you can't find out that answer at that moment or looking back in the past.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's all right. So, yeah, man. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's some deep, conversations right there. I feel like a lot of people, Polynesians, everybody grows up in church, and also just put it out there.
Don't take me wrong. Church is a good thing.
I have nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against churches. It's like I mentioned earlier. There's a lot of beautiful people in churches, people doing it right. There's a lot of beautiful leaders, strong leaders in the church that are doing it right. But when it comes in, I'm a numbers guy. There's more bad people than good people.
Yeah.
And that's what I know about life.
Yep.
So that's why I know. That's why I like to talk. Like I said, I have nothing love of church, but I'm just saying, in life, in my experience, there's very few good people out there.
Exactly.
And more insecure, judgmental, critical people out there. All right. And man, and I guess the last thing I want to ask you real quick, and we could just finish up real quick, is being open-minded when it comes to happiness, asking questions about our culture. And, we can talk about relationships real quick, about, people being bored now and the struggle for finding love. So we can just run by those two topics real quick. So we can start with the first one, happiness, asking questions about our culture to figure out things for our life, to find our own happiness. What does that mean to you?
I think happiness is something happiness is something you are looking forward to, something you are comfortable with, something that it gets you very excited, something you don't even worry about anything else, I mean, that's what I think about happiness, and happiness about, you say something about asking questions at home.
Yeah, I feel like happiness, happiness is a journey we have to go through, right?
Yeah.
And like any journey in life, we have to ask directions, because nobody really knows their journey, where they're going to end up, except God.
Exactly.
Right. But we have to pray to God. And how do we pray to God? We have to ask him, hey, God, please lead me. So I feel like that's what happiness is. It's a journey we have to go through, and we have to ask questions to get the answers that we need, or the right advice or the right information that we need to make those decisions for ourselves. The best decision for ourselves to move forward. But if we're afraid to ask questions, or then that can be a very it can be really hard for you to figure out your own happiness or to be happy in general. So what do you think about that? Especially when it relates to the Tongan culture.
I feel like a lot of people are not really secure. A lot of people are very scared to ask questions about happiness or anything like that, or anything in general, because they're afraid of being judged. They are of the energy that's going to be returned to them after they discuss what's in their mind. Like say something. For example, if you're curious about if you're curious about sex, right?
Yeah.
Like you're kind of curious about it, but you want to go ask your family of how to guide you through it, but you're kind of like, kind of that they might be, you gotta do that,
and sex also is like a taboo topic, right? Nobody, it's
exactly.
very sensitive topic. Nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah, unless it's like with the homies and shit, But to like talk
about within personal family members. Yeah.
But talk about it with your family. There are some people, don't get me wrong, there are some people that's really open-minded about it. But the majority, they're gonna be like, why are you bringing up this topic,
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gets you to think about a lot of things where you're gonna like trying to ask, but really you're just shy and not only that is like you're just afraid of receiving the negative energy of them being like, oh, like shit, this is a waste of time, like talk to me about something that's worth my time,
Yeah. The way I see, go ahead. Yep.
A lot of families like to think that they're open-minded, but really they're not,
Yeah.
They're so quick to telling you like, oh, you know what? That's wrong.
Yeah.
They're always quick to tell you what's wrong and not tell you why it's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they
you know why I believe that? You know why I believe they do that?
Why?
Because they don't even know the answer.
Exactly.
Most of us, I want to say all the time, but sometimes they don't even know the answer. And they don't want to admit to that, so they'll just say that's why they won't tell you the why. Just I said so. That's why.
I met some relatives of mine and how they treat their kids. Like for example, their kids can ask them like, "Hey, we're gonna go out to a party," and their parents are like, "Okay, just want you to be responsible, when you're out there. Just know a lot of things can happen, but I trust you, And it kind of gets me to self-reflect of how I grew up, Like shit, I can't even ask. I have to wait until midnight so my family can fall asleep so I can sneak out. Because that's the way I can go out, Because I know for goddamn sure if I go to ask them, they're gonna say no.
Yeah.
But I also believe that the most strict parents, you're gonna raise the best liars in the world. I can tell you that.
I never heard that before. The most strict parents raise the best liars in the world.
Exactly. Personal.
Oh, so now you just changed my perception of when if I ever go on a date with a girl, right? And if she ever mentions, I was raised by very strict parents, I was like, oh my gosh, she's a lying.
I mean,
that was just a little joke, but yeah.
I'm saying like, like parents don't understand. Like you can't. Like the more they force something upon you, is the more you're gonna
do the opposite
about it. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna do it, but without your consent and without you.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm gonna lie my way out of it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's why healthy communication comes.
Exactly.
Comes into play. You have to explain the reasoning, and I feel like that's very. Because as I feel like as human beings, it's our natural curiosity to ask, to want to know, right? You can't just tell somebody like, You can't just tell somebody things without giving them the explanation.
Exactly.
All right. Unless it's a really, really close person, right? You may have some unique understanding connection to the person, but for the most part, most people you meet, they ask you something. It's our natural like curiosity. Like, oh, okay, why?
Yeah.
Right. Right. And then that's a normal thing that as a community we have kind of like put like a negative stigma on it, or to ask questions. Oh, that person is a bad person. That person is she is you have bad intentions if you ask something.
Yeah.
Like, or you, like I said, rebellious. Oh, okay, if you ask something, immediately you're rebel. No, if I ask a question, it's because I just want to know. You know, it doesn't mean I'm trying to. There's like an agenda. You know, I have my own agenda, or like, I'm trying to rebel against you or disrespect you. You know, that's always a common response for a lot of people. If I ask a question, oh, why are you trying to disrespect me? No, I'm not trying to disrespect you. Yeah. You know, but also like to disregard, you know, to shut down my answer. That's also disrespectful. Yeah. To shut me down of asking something, a normal question about, because I'm trying to find out information. So yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I feel like it happens. We have to ask ourselves questions, because think about it. Like today, right? You know, you and me. What are the things about in our life right now that will give us happiness? Right? I guess like right now, to live in America, right? To live in modern society, you know, you have to have a career, right? You have to have a job, right? You have to have a job. You have to have a relationship, right? Find somebody you love. You have to have health, good health, right? You take care of your not only mental but physical health. Right. Finances, you know, make sure you have some money coming in, take care of you, and maybe spirituality, God, right? You need that. Yeah. So, as kids growing up, like, you know, we have to ask, okay, what kind of career that we want that's going to make us have something that we want to do for our life that gives us purpose, and we're going to enjoy doing. That's going to give us happiness. You know, what type of person do I want to date to make sure that this is a person I want to date that's going to make me happy? What kind of health do I want to be in? You know, mental and physical health, right? And then what kind of like when I make money, what do I want to do with my money, right? Yeah. Things I want to do with my money that's going to give me happiness, and not giving my whole check to my family every single time they ask for money. You know what I'm saying? So we have to ask those questions, and we have to answer those questions for ourselves. I feel like a lot of times when we ask about, hey, our parents try to control everything. Like they eliminate that choice from us to make that choice. Like they try to tell us where to work. They're trying to tell us who to date. They're trying to tell us what kind of spirituality that you path that you want to take. You have to go to church every single Sunday. And you know, when you make money, of course, if you probably know this, if you make money, you know that paycheck, you have no control of that money. Your family has control of that money. All right. So when you take away somebody's inability to make a choice, and also like asking questions because they're trying to find out the best path so they can make their own choices for themselves. And that's why you see a lot of kids struggling with happiness and don't even know what happiness is, or like they have mental health issues. Like, what do you feel like? Like, what do you think?
Like say for example, so the most basic thing you can't really talk to about your parents is relationships with another.
Yeah.
I'm really glad my mom was actually really open-minded. Like, I was 15 and I started dating, you know, and she didn't really care about it. Like, it's not that she didn't care. She was always trying to help me, trying to be a better person in a relationship, you know? I already know for a fact that I'm too young to be in a relationship at the time, but she was really, really open-minded about it, you know? And I was kind of hoping that everybody else in my family was kind of open-minded like her, you know, but she was the only person. And like, I would sit down with her and she'd actually tell me how to treat a woman. And I was actually really, really thankful for her to, you know, sit down with me and talk to me of how to treat a woman. And she's taught me a lot of things, honestly, you know?
Yeah.
Really, really appreciative of her, thanking her for like helping me be the man I am today, you know? And honestly, she's the only person in my family that's really understanding. Like if I try to talk about the same thing with my uncle, he's gonna tell me like, oh, you're too young, you know? Like they're more to like, oh, you think this is the one? Like they're always about like typical Tongan family, they're gonna be like always quick to, oh, you're too young, like you're very inexperienced, like like is this the like you gotta understand that this is the person that you're gonna marry, and like, and then all of a sudden they're like, stop, if I were you, just give up relationships for now and thinking of taking care of the family. And I'm just like, not really proactive, but all right, So it's always been my mom that I always try to talk to, and she's the only one person in my family that's always open-minded for me to talk to.
Yeah, I think that's something we need to do as allowing allowing kids to experience things, right?
Yeah.
Gain experience, especially like life experience on certain things, so they can kind of prepare themselves. But I feel like sometimes Polynesian families, like they'll shelter or overprotect their kids too much, or try to make every decision for them, and then when they hit the real world, the real life hits them in the face.
Yeah.
Like I give a perfect example. When you go to a job interview, to apply for a job, what do the employers usually want? Which candidate they usually want the most out of the people that's applying for that job? It's the candidate that always has the most what?
Experience.
Boom. Experience, right? So usually that's the person they want. The person with the most experience, because the person with the most experience has the likelihood or probability to be most successful in that position.
Exactly.
So for all the parents out there, like if you don't like, I'm so glad you had those conversations with your mom. Like she was giving you practical experience, but also allowing you to go experience that for yourself. All right. So how to be in a relationship, how to treat a woman, how do things the right way. But the thing is, if you don't give anybody a manual, like you don't give somebody like a manual, a guide, or teach them practical experience, they're literally going into the real world blindfolded.
Like there's a difference between learning about something and experiencing experience, like you can go to school and learn how to be a good doctor, but there can be someone who that was a bad example.
No.
You can actually go to school about like landscaping, you can go to school and learn everything about landscaping, but you're not going to beat someone who's done landscaping for a lot of years now. Like be in school for 8 years, and they could be doing landscaping for 8 years without school. Trust me, the person who is more experienced is going to be more better than the person learning.
Yeah. Like your mom taught you how to be in a good relationship, finding how to treat a woman. So like for you, when you went out there relationship, you knew what to expect. You had the experience to know what to do in that situation. But if you don't, like I see this a lot of time when I see a lot of young poly girls or guys, they're going into a relationship with somebody that's a toxic person.
Yeah.
But they think that person is like the best person for them, because nobody was there to teach them the difference between a healthy relationship
and a toxic
and an asshole.
Exactly.
But they don't know. They don't know. But then unfortunately, they have to either get hurt or get played or be pregnant or something. They have to learn the hard way. Like, life has to teach them the hard way, right? Well, we can avoid that by just teaching our kids
at home,
Yeah, exactly. But we have to be willing to be open and let them ask questions. If they ask, hey, can I learn about this? Can I learn? Even if something that's like a negative, may be seen as a negative. Hey, mom, like drinking. Hey, mom, like, or drugs, right? Hey, mom, like, can I learn? My friends are all doing marijuana. Like, can I do it? Like having healthy conversations about that. Because that's real shit that's happening in real life. Like, don't try to like deflect it. Like, oh, you drinking? All right. Maybe if because like you said before, if you try to force it, they're gonna do the opposite. So if somebody came up to me, want to talk about drinking, oh, you want drinking? Hey, just to let you know, these are the positive things. I'm gonna start another positive. Like this is what happens when you misuse alcohol.
Yeah.
Right. If you become drunk, you can get DUI. You can hit somebody and go to and have manslaughter. Like all these things that come with alcohol, and teach them these real life experiences, right?
Yeah.
And not try to sugarcoat things, and then maybe by convincing him, by discussing about all the negative things of alcohol, they'll be like, you know what? I don't want to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
They're making their own choice. right? Like I know, because you allowed them to ask, and you gave them that time and compassion and listen to them,
really educate them.
educate them. Then now they're free to make their own choice, right? You know what, Dad? You know what, Dad? You know what, Mom? I don't want to do alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to.
I'm doing that shit.
And then when they're friends, they don't fall to the peer pressure.
Yeah.
And the reason why they don't fall to the peer pressure because it's their own choice. They made that decision on their own. Like they're like, hey, dude, y'all can do your thing, but I'm cool.
Yeah, my uncle told me that shit's wrong, so I'm not doing it. You know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like, educate them so they can make their own choice. Like we talked about before, like religion, right? If it's not your own faith, you're gonna crumble.
Exactly.
If you know, so like same thing. Let them give them the information and trust your kids to make that choice. All right. And then if they make the best choice, great. If they don't make the best choice, hey, we're all human. We all been there. We all fucked up as a kid.
They'll learn from it.
They're gonna learn anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I know, man. I know. It's like, yeah, this is something I always see a lot of kids, like they're not really prepared for life. Exactly. You know, and they struggle. They have to learn the hard way. Like we always have to learn hard, especially when it comes to happiness. Like we're trying to figure out things for our life. You know, who to love, who to date, what career do we want for our life, how we want to spend our money. A lot of times we make decisions for other people's happiness, but we never make decisions for our own happiness. And that's where the suffering happens. Right? Because and that's always been the Polynesian way, right? Always do the Polynesian way is always sacrificing your life for other people, for your family. That's always been the Polynesian way. I remember I had a guest on my show and she said the definition of love, right? She said that the in the Polynesian culture, the definition of love is like how we judge love in the Polynesian culture is how much sacrifice you're willing to do for your family. So the more sacrifice you're willing to make for your own family, that's how you consider a very loving person. But the moment you do things for yourself, you're labeled as selfish. Even if it's something that's for your own benefit, for your own health, and for your own well-being. So is this how it is? But
there's also one thing I could add, if possible.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the mentality of having, how do you say it? Like, it's the mentality of thinking that you owe your parents or you owe your family.
Oh, yeah. Speak that real quick.
I've always grew up in a family where they did a lot of shit for me. You know, they provided food for me. And I realized that ever since I came to the United States, I started working, you know, it's like they ask me for it. And if I tell them I can't, they're going to be like, oh, but why you got to be selfish? You know, like why I did this for you when you were a kid. And I'm just like, oh, so is it kind of like, so you're just basically, how do you say it? Like you're just raising me. Just for me to take care of you in the future. That's kind of wrong, you know. That's kind of like not an unconditional love, but it's more of a conditional love, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, that's kind of messed up. So I kind of wish that I could say this to my family, like if you do things and like if you ask, especially with the Polynesians at home in the home island, like Tongan, Samoan, or anywhere, if you try to ask your anybody in overseas to help you out and they can't, you gotta understand that everybody's struggle is different, you know. Like I was in Tongan not having to think about money because I went to Uta, you know, like I went fishing with my grandpa, things like that, you know. Over here, you gotta work your ass for your money, you know. You gotta work your ass for you pay your mortgage, you gotta pay your car payments, insurance, a lot of things. But they don't realize it. They just think that the United States is like, oh, is a place where you can actually make a lot of money, but not really thinking about how they're making that money, you know? Like when I was in Arizona, usually my uncle would be like the uncle I used to live with, he'd be like, oh, I'm gonna need your paycheck for this week and next week. I'm just like, damn. And then all of a sudden they're asking like, so have you saved up? And like, I'm like, what? What did you say?
Yeah.
And every time you say no, like every time you say like, oh, but I gotta pay for something, they're always quick to be like, oh, but I didn't complain when I was taking care of you. I didn't complain when you were in Tonga and your grandma asked me for money to take care of you guys, think like that. And I'm just like, so basically when you're loving us, it wasn't unconditional, it was conditional, and like I wanted to say it, but I couldn't. But yet again, coming back to respect, like it's something we don't realize, or they don't realize that they're doing, and again, it's something I want to learn from,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a little add-on. I just wanted to add on to it.
Yeah,
because something you said.
right. No, I'm about to say something that a lot of people might hate me if I say this. But I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100, everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this with nothing. I'm gonna say this with love, everybody. You do not owe shit to anybody.
Exactly.
Even to your parents, and I'll bring it and I'll explain to you why. We just talked about before in the podcast responsibility.
Exactly.
We have to be responsible with our decisions. That's part of life.
Exactly.
So your parents, you don't owe your parents to take care of you. No, that's their responsibility.
Yeah.
Because they chose to procreate, have sex, and make you. Right? So it's their responsibility to take care of you, but you do not owe them a damn thing. Right? Also, right, when it comes, we talked about conditional and unconditional love, right? People who truly love you will not put conditions on their love.
Yeah.
Right? That's the difference between control.
Yeah.
Right? And freedom. Right? Because think about it. When I love somebody, when I truly love somebody, I do it. I do things for them with no reward, with no benefit.
Yeah.
Right? I do it from the bottom of my heart. Right? And but like I said, people will love to use that as a way of control because they want to control you for their own personal gain, for their own agenda. Right? And that's why you see all these issues with with like Polynesians struggling that we have to give our paycheck and we can't say no to our family.
Yeah.
But that's something I realized in life. Like you don't owe anything to anybody. The only person that you owe it to yourself is yourself. Right? The only person that's gonna love you more than anybody else is yourself. The only person that can help you more than anybody is yourself. Because at the end of the day, you guys all know this: when life hits hard and you're in a predicament, you hit rock bottom. All right, I guarantee you, most of the people that you they claim to say that they're gonna be there for you, they won't be there for you.
It won't be there for you.
All right, I'm just gonna keep it real 100. That's why you have to take that responsibility and put everything on you. That you owe it to yourself to do what's best for you. All right, and just understand that there are a lot of people out there that have the wrong intentions for you, trying to use you. But the people that really, really love you, the people that really care for you, who support you, anything you do, right? And there's no conditions behind it.
Exactly.
Right? Because when you truly love someone, there's no conditions behind it. When I love somebody, I don't care what they do. All I'm gonna be like, look, I like whatever you do for your life, do you. But my love, there's no conditions behind my love because I care for you. I love you regardless of what you do, what you decide to choose for myself. As long as you're not hurting other people, you're not hurting yourself, we good. We good. That's my rule of thumb when it comes to loving people. Like as long as you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting other people, right? We're good. I'm gonna love you. Whatever you decide, the choice you want to do. And if I decide to give you something, there's no I don't expect anything back, right? Because I truly want to give it to you. So I feel like that's something that we definitely, I know, like I said, I definitely want to tell everybody. I'm just saying this with the bottom of my heart and keep it real honest with you guys. That you don't owe nobody shit. You don't owe nobody anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to do everything that's best for you. And that's just the real life how it works. And people have this entitled mentality, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like sometimes people have this entitled mentality that you deserve something because somebody's in a relationship with you, or whatever the case is. And you see this not only with our family, but also see in relationships, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, just because I'm a boyfriend, that you have to do this for me. No, like I don't have to do that for you. I'm gonna do this what's good for me. And if you really love me, to say it the way you say it, then you will support me whatever I do. So like I know it's just tough when I see Polynesians never doing what's best for them because they feel like they owe it to their family.
Yeah.
Right. But then when they're broke and when they're kicked out and they're evicted, and then they lose their car, and then those same family members are not there for
Exactly.
them. Right? So like that's what I'm saying is like, know the difference between like conditional love and unconditional love, and know the difference between control and because like we don't. I learned about these things as I grew older, as I was reading books. But a lot of people like very manipulative. Is that the word? Yeah, very manipulating. There you go, manipulating.
Yeah.
To get what they want out of you. And sadly, to say a lot of family members do that. I don't owe nothing to my parents, but because I love my parents,
yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for them. It's not because it's not because I owe them. They owe me something. No, the reason why I do things for my family, for my parents, because I genuinely love my parents.
Exactly.
Regardless of what happened between me and them, that's like it is what it is. But I genuinely love my parents, and I don't feel like I owe them anything. I'm not paying them back from anything. I'm not doing anything. The things I provide for them, I'm not doing it because I need to pay them back. No, I'm doing it just the pureness of love, right? And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's facts, bro. Like you don't owe owe anybody nothing. You don't really owe anybody anything. But that's what we teach in our Polynesian culture. Is like, okay, I'm your father, I'm your mother, I'm your elder. You owe me your life.
Yeah. When you grow up and make money, make sure that some of that money is ours. I was just like, what the fuck?
You didn't do. Where were you when I was broke? Where was you when I was barely scraping by and trying to build my business, build my life? Where were you at?
Exactly.
As I'm saying, like what I'm saying, like people always want to be there at the finish line, but they don't want to be there doing the race. Exactly. They're just waiting for you. Hey, come on, man. Finish the race. We supported you. We believed in you the whole time.
Exactly.
Nah. And I'm gonna say some real shit right now. Pay attention to people. They're only with you just to see if you make it.
Exactly.
Pay attention to that. Some people are not really with you because they're really with you. They're just with you because just in case you make it and they can get something out of it. So it's like they're just there just to be there, just to see.
Exactly.
So know the difference, man. Know the difference. That's all. The reason why I always know the difference between somebody that really supports me is just like people that always help me out, and there's like I said, there's no condition behind it. So when I feel that sincere nature from people, when people that support me, love me, even in the hardest times of my life, like there's no benefit from supporting me right now because I'm not where I need to be, but they just support me because like that they show that love because because of who I am and I know them as well. So I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of Polynesians need to hear that. And I know people are probably gonna hate me for saying that, or whatever. I'm just keeping it real, yeah. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, those people you claim to that has your back and they say they'll always be different. I'm telling you, when you hit it, when you go through that hard time, just you'll see what I'm talking about. Life always has a way. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, yeah, man. Toko, I think we came to the end, man. We talked about some good topics.
Right.
There's some deep conversations, man. I know a lot of people are gonna have fun. They're gonna watch this podcast. I think by the time they finish watching this podcast, they're gonna love us or hate us.
Either way.
Either way, it works for me.
Right.
Anyways, hey, Toko, I just want to say thank you so much, man. Thank you for being on my podcast. Number one, thank you for your courage. Thank you for speaking up a lot of those difficult things that you talked about in your life. And I know it was difficult for you to talk about it, but the fact that you did it for yourself and for the people out there that's going through similar situations and to kind of, help them and inspire them to find some kind of change and accountability in their life. Man, I really, really appreciate that. People don't realize how hard it is to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
All right. But like I said, I'm very grateful for you to do that. Much love to you, Toko. But I just want to say to every single guest, the one thing I always say to every guest at the end of the show, I always ask them, can you leave some final thoughts, some final words? And just share some final thoughts to everybody. And we'll close the podcast off with that.
I think the last thing I want to say here is thank you, man. Like, appreciate it. appreciate what you're doing for not only me but for everybody else. Like a lot of people don't really have the guts to say something, but it's really assuring that I'm over here talking with you and you're very very open minded and you want to listen. You know, like I don't really have any a lot of people like that. You know, and you made me feel very comfortable to talk about a lot of things that I had in my mind or just a burden on my shoulder. Like honestly, after talking about it, I feel really good. You know, like it's
Yeah.
really and hey, keep doing what you're doing. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that need your help. You know, and again, I thank you, man. Like appreciate it.
Sure,
And
man.
listening, everybody listening, like I think the major thing is just self responsibility. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, shit's not gonna go the way you want, but it's either your responsibility to go with the flow or become a better person and snap out of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's all I wanted to say. And again, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Malo Pito.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Don't forget, this is William the Tank. They call him the Tank. Tanke. All right, y'all. Have a good one.